San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Tuesday to everybody out there in America's finest city. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We got a great show planned today. Again, a lot of Padres baseball. As we lead into opening day on Thursday, we will be live at Baja Rick's on Thursday for opening day. Right after the morning show, they're going to be there from 6 to 10. We'll be there from 10 to noon. Sam Levitt will be broadcasting from... Are they still broadcasting for the Loft? That's where he's broadcasting from?
I couldn't imagine being somewhere else.
I think that's where he's going to be. And he'll be there on opening day inside the ballpark.
He should broadcast opening day from Baja Rick's. We're all going to be there. Everything's all going to be set up for him. May as well, right?
I have answers to why that isn't the case.
Yeah.
But yes, that'd be cool. We have done like one or two at a remote location before. But yeah, Sammy Swipes back in the Loft, swiping away. Sammy Swipes back in OB. I saw that post this morning. That means it's even closer to opening day. We got Sammy Swipes back. So it'll be a fun day on Thursday. We're looking forward to it. We'll be downtown. And then we will also be doing a specialty show of the weekend as well on a Saturday at the East Village Block Party. I don't know the details on that yet, but we'll be downtown twice during this 3-game series against the Detroit Tigers. Now, tomorrow's show is going to be a lot of the preview, predictive portion of Major League Baseball, right? The radio cliche, we're going to predict the season kind of attitude, right? I mean, that's always fun to do. And then never bring it back up in October when it's all terribly, terribly bad. I don't know if we still have that old sheets or not that had all the stuff on there, Frank, but I'm pretty sure I left the...
I think it's in one of like the duplicates that we made.
Yeah,
so,
I know we had like a backup file and some other stuff.
I think it's on the backup file. I'll take a look.
I took it out. I got rid of it. I remember going through and just being like, man, I really thought the Orioles were going to be a lot better than they were. Man, I really thought that team was going to be a lot better than they were. Wow, I really didn't think that team was going to be worth a bleep. And then they did. So that will be tomorrow's show. Now, on today's show, a lot of roster talk still. I mean, by the time we hit the airwaves on Thursday, we're going to know the opening day roster. Especially with the 1 o'clock game, they got to get it in a couple hours before, right? So they will probably announce the opening day roster sometime during Ben and Woods on Thursday. So by the time we hit the airwaves on Thursday, we will know the Padres roster. So today's going to be a little bit more of like the filling in the pieces and really seeing if there are any question marks when it comes to the Padres roster. Because right now, I really don't think there are. I mean, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but with more and more reports coming out, I mean, we're going to talk about the bullpen here in a second with what the bullpen's going to potentially look like. We know what the starting rotation is going to look like. We know what the bench pieces are going to be. I think the starting lineup might be a little surprising. I mean, where's Fernando going to hit on opening day? Is he going to bat cleanup? I'd be shocked if he bats leadoff just because he'd only done that once during spring training. And all of the narrative has been like him not batting leadoff, and then he hit leadoff the other day. Plus, he hit leadoff for the Dominican Republic for the entire time he was playing the WBC. But I think from that perspective, it might be a little bit surprising. But you're going against two left-handers to get the season started. So we'll talk about that later on in the show. We got a lot to get to today when it comes to the Padres. We got injury updates for you. We have a look at what they plan on doing with Manny Machado, who was quoted to say that he's he wants to play every day, like we know he always wants to do. Jeff Passan's got an outlook for the Padres. Playoff teams likely to miss in 2026, according to CBS.com. We'll talk a little bit about the NCAA tournament. Again, today and tomorrow is probably better for that because when they start the Sweet 16 on Thursday, we're going to be full baseball mode anyway. So, and there's no really local ties to the Sweet 16 at this point in time. We'll talk about San Diego FC in the 1 o'clock hour, why they want to move the WBC in terms of their scheduling. That will be in the 1 o'clock hour. Some things that we didn't get to yesterday. But let's start the show today with the opening day starter. And we talked about it briefly yesterday with Nick Pivetta getting the opening day start for the Padres. Padres are the last team to announce an opening day starter. And when you start looking at, and Kevin Acee was asking a lot of questions about this yesterday, but the announcement came late because of some, Nick Pivetta had recently dealt with some mild arm fatigue, which you're going to get in spring training. He skipped a Cactus League start. So there was some built-in, I wouldn't know about questions, but there were some built-in situations for the Padres to hold this decision a little bit later than probably wanted to. But Nick Pivetta's getting the ball on Thursday. He was named the opening day starter for the first time in his career. And with some of the, I don't really want to say injury concern because it's not really injury concerns, kind of some mild arm fatigue that wanted to make sure was not super bad. He gets the nod to start on opening day. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that he had a breakout season in 2025. 2.87 ERA, 181 and 2/3 innings, 190 strikeouts, career best across the board. And he was the most reliable arm and the closest thing to an ace on this staff a year ago. And just like Nick Pivetta, it's basically most of the starting rotation signs that it could be really good, but a lot of question marks also with the rotation. And the question marks for Nick Pivetta are, and there's a couple. One, maybe a little bit of the arm fatigue, if you will. I don't think that's really that big of a question mark. But number two, can he replicate what he did last year? I mentioned the numbers that he had. They were impressive numbers. A 2.87 ERA, 181 and 2/3 innings, 190 strikeouts. Career best across the board. That's the most significant thing to me. Career best. Can he replicate what was a career year for Nick Pivetta? I mean, we're talking about a guy that is from Canada, from Victoria, British Columbia. I mean, I was listening to Ello talk about this yesterday. That's like a small island in British Columbia. He got drafted by the Nationals in the 4th round out of New Mexico Junior College in a place called Hobbs, New Mexico. Hobbs, New Mexico. I didn't even know that was a place until yesterday when Ello brought it up. But he's played in almost every league known to man as he came up through the minor leagues, as he played with Philadelphia, as then moved on to Boston, and has now found himself in San Diego, and at age 32, putting together his best year of his career. But now, here's the thing for Nick Pivetta. He has to try to replicate what he did last year, but this is why he can't really be in a complacent mindset. Because he signed a 4-year, $55 million deal to pitch here in San Diego, but he has an opt-out at the end of the season. So both sides kind of they have the motivation for Nick Pivetta to be very good this year. Padres need the performance. With all the question marks in the starting rotation, you kind of really need Nick Pivetta to be just as good as he was last year if you're going to make this thing work. And for Nick Pivetta, this is his opportunity to get his big payday this season. This is his best chance to get the big payday is this season. He wants to have a bigger payday, get his big contract. Everybody wants to achieve their big contract, and Nick Pivetta is no different. And that's why this year is even more pressure for a guy like Nick Pivetta. And he's a guy that I think can handle and embrace the pressure. So for anybody that's like, he might come back down to earth a little bit, this is a very important year for Nick Pivetta. If Nick Pivetta pitches, and I think it's kind of a win-win, as much as most of these deals that the Padres have signed are win-wins. If Nick Pivetta pitches out of his mind, he'll opt out of his contract and he'll go get a big payday. But that also means that he gave the Padres a hell of a year. And then the Padres are free of $14 million and $18 million the next 2 years. If he doesn't, well, he'll be back in the Padres, and $14 million for a starting pitcher is not crazy in 2027. Neither is $18 million in 2028. So I think it's a little bit of a win-win, but he has to replicate what he did last year. Now, the bigger story, of course, is the rotation. And we talked about the rotation a lot yesterday. And until they start playing in games, it's going to be the same kind of conversation. But you got your locks at the top with concerns. Nick Pivetta, obviously, trying to replicate a career year. Michael King, who only had 15 starts last year, and some durability questions. Randy Vasquez, who's still proving himself, even though he is a lock for the rotation. He does have the question marks of, can he continue to improve? And I thought Randy had a great spring. Then you got the injury and the unknowns. Joe Musgrove starting on the IL after, what could be a setback, what also could be a planned time missed with Joe Musgrove. Walker Buehler, who is, have reduced velocity since he had his second Tommy John surgery a couple of years ago, as he's tried to find himself. Ramon Marquez coming off of elbow issues from previous years, trying to get a new lease on life. I mean, that's the back end of the bullpen. And that's not even talking about a guy like Griffin Canning, who had done not very great in Anaheim and was having a great year last year with the Mets before he ruptured his Achilles. So as much as, Nick Pivetta is the opening day starter, he's not just the starter. He's kind of the stabilizer of a very shaky rotation. But it's the risk calculation by the Padres that has led to this opportunity for the ceiling to be high on the rotation. I mean, they almost traded Nick Pivetta, too. They explored deals this offseason, but decided to hold at peak value because the rotation is too fragile to subtract from. And now the reality is Nick Pivetta is the opening day starter. He's the most dependable arm, and he's a financial leverage piece going into the season. We're going to talk more about the roster here in a second. We got some reports yesterday from Kevin Acee about the game, after the game, who pitched in the game, what the roster might look like. We'll discuss that when we return to the Braden Surprenant Show, Setting Number Sports Station 97 through the Fan. San Diego FC might have just got a reality check, and it came fast. After that incredible win over Toluca in the first leg, it looked like San Diego might make a serious run in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. But in Mexico, a completely different story. Toluca dominated San Diego 4-0, outshooting them 27-3 and ending their tournament run just like that. And the struggles didn't stop there. Back in MLS play, San Diego gave up another late lead in a 2-2 draw against Real Salt Lake. And that's now back-to-back games where they couldn't close it out. The offense is still there. The talent is obvious. But defensively, discipline, focus, and finishing games are becoming real concerns. For an expansion team, this is part of the process. But if San Diego wants to be a top club, these are the games they have to start winning. So now the question is this just a bump in the road or the start of a bigger problem? From a historic night to really a reality check, it's been a tough stretch for San Diego FC in this beginning part of the season. And the momentum from the dramatic Champions Cup win didn't carry over. In the CONCACAF Champions Cup, San Diego's run came to a hard stop with a 4-0 loss to Toluca in the second leg in Mexico. Despite winning the first leg 3-2, SDFC was overwhelmed. Toluca outshot them 27-3, dominating possession and control throughout the match. Goals from Jesus Ricardo Angulo, Paulinho, and Jesus Gallardo sealed the result, sending Toluca through on aggregate. For San Diego, it was a reminder of the gap that can still exist between the MLS side and the top Liga MX competition, especially on the road. So leg 2, Frank, a little bit more coming back down to earth.
Yeah, and this is what we more or less expected. We didn't expect them to get completely dominated, but as we were saying on the show last week, after this happened. This was Toluca making sure that they, one, did not make the same mistake that Pumas made from a couple of weeks prior by going into Mexico. They still won, but didn't win by enough to be able to advance, but also not making the mistake that they had made the week prior and losing to a San Diego FC side that was riding high on a lot of momentum and positive forward movement. Toluca really shut that down and shut that down quickly.
Back to the MLS side of things. So after that loss to Toluca, again, reset back to the normal schedule of the MLS. Problems didn't really go away. San Diego settled for a 2-2 draw with Real Salt Lake, making their second straight draw and third consecutive match without a win. And once again, it was a late collapse.
Yeah, San Diego led 2-1 after a late goal from Anders Dreyer, but conceded in the 85th minute when Victor Olantunji found the equalizer, and things unraveled further from there. Defender Christopher McVeigh was sent off, leaving San Diego down a man, unable to push for the winner. And this now marks back-to-back games where San Diego FC has given up late goals, including a stoppage time equalizer in Dallas last weekend. So it has been very, very tough. We're seeing a lot of fouls being committed. We've had, 4 red cards in the last 3 matches for San Diego FC as well in all competitions. So it has been a very, very rough patch for San Diego FC after getting off to such a hot start that they did, not just in the league, but in CONCACAF as well.
Yeah, this week exposed something important. San Diego FC is exciting, but not yet complete. The attack continues to produce. Players like Dreyer, Marcus Invarksen are consistently creating chances, but defensively, the cracks are showing. Late game focus is slipping. Discipline is becoming an issue. Multiple red cards in recent matches, as Frank was mentioning, and the team is struggling to close out games. And head coach Mike Ibarra said it best: if you want to be a top club, you have to handle the grind. And right now, San Diego is learning that lesson in real time.
Yeah, and it has truly been a grind. I mean, we brought it up a couple of updates ago. They're playing 5 games in 16 days, so they're playing a lot of football right now. But San Diego, you got to find a way to overcome that, because you're not the only one doing it. Every other team in the world has a stretch where they're playing a lot of games over a short amount of time, and they did. If you watch that game, especially towards the end, they look whooped against Real Salt Lake. They look tired. They looked worn out. So that might be one of the bigger concerns, is that a team that you're not really used to seeing being gassed looked very gassed on Sunday.
Well, they've been playing 2 games a week for the last couple of weeks. So that's obviously a big reason why they are gassed. But now here's the good news. Looking ahead, a reset is coming. San Diego heads into the international break, sitting 4th in the Western Conference with 11 points, still very much in a strong position early in the season. And they don't play until a road match against the San Jose Earthquakes on April 4th. I mean, they got a little bit of time now to kind of relax a little bit and get the bodies right before they make another push. So the reset comes at a really important time for San Diego FC. Couldn't come at a better time for the break. A chance to regroup, a chance to clean up defensively. Getting ready for Padres baseball as they take on the Detroit Tigers. Should be a fun time. We're going to be at Baja Ricks on Thursday from 10 to noon. That's going to be our show. We are following Ben and Woods. They're going to be there from 6 to 10. It's going to be a great time down there. We're going to have giveaways for you. I know they're doing deals down there as well at Baja Ricks. So come on down, hang out with us at Baja Ricks. Get ready for the ball game. Again, opening day, you got tickets to opening day. You're taking the day off from work. Don't even go into work in the morning. Just go straight to the ballpark. Get up early. Get yourself some coffee. Head on down. They got deals all morning. You can have breakfast there, brunch, whatever it may be, and come hang out with us at Baja Ricks. We'll be talking about the other games going on. We'll be talking about the game that happened the night before with Frank Marchese's favorite team, the New York Yankees, taking on the San Francisco Giants.
He draws the foul.
And his favorite player, Aaron Judge.
He draws the foul.
Not to be mistaken for Arson Fudge, who plays for the Mets, the alter ego.
He draws the foul.
It's great. The cheap shots are just throwing just daggers.
We are
daggers.
20 minutes into the show, and you are in some deep foul trouble, dude.
Yeah, it sounds good. I got USD baseball later today. I got stuff I got to do. The amount of sick days on Thursday is going to be hilarious, by the way. The amount of sick days is going to be hilarious. All right, so we'll see you guys all down there at Baja Rick's. Let's talk about some stuff that came out after yesterday's game, which is the final game of spring training. Thank the Lord, we are done with that. Done with spring training. The biggest thing to me, and this sets up for the next segment we're going to talk about when it comes to the roster, is the last question that we had about this roster was the bullpen, right? That was the last question we had. We know the 13 position players on this team. Now, I will say this. As I was putting it down on our sheet today, I understand they're all outfielders, but aren't most of these guys going to be playing in the infield if they play defensively? The Padres this year, if you just go off their website, and who knows, they might change it. The Padres' 13 position players are divvied up for 2 catchers, okay, Camposano and Fermin, 4 infielders, Bogarts, Cronenworth, Machado, France, and then the outfielders of Miguel Andujar, Nick Castellanos, Bryce Johnson, Ramon Laureano, Jackson Merrill, Gavin Sheets, Fernando Tatis Jr. Is that the most outfielders a team has ever carried?
Throw 2 more on there.
Well, you'd have to take 2 guys off. I think Ty France could be considered an outfielder, huh?
Yeah.
Throw him out there, maybe.
Why couldn't Jake either?
Yeah, Jake could probably play the outfield if necessary. So that's just but we know those 13 players. Okay, Sungwon Song's probably going to start on the injured list to get the season started. The position players are easy. Then you got to the starting rotation. This has been pretty easy too. Over the last couple of weeks, we kind of knew this was going to be the case. It was going to be a matter of who's going to be healthy and who's not. Joe Musgrove going to start on the injured list, so that opens the door for German Marquez. But you're going to see this year Pivetta, King, Vasquez, Buehler, and Marquez. That's going to be your starting pitchers on this team. And then we got the information about the bullpen. Okay, again, the bullpen for us, for the San Diego Padres, and for our conversations have been, if so-and-so doesn't make the team, that opens the door for this person. If they both make the team, talking about Jason Adam and Yuki Matsui in terms of not being on the injured list, then it's going to be this guy. I mean, going into spring training, the Padres had 1 bullpen option available, depending on where a couple of players land on the injured list. And one of them was Jason Adam. Now, Jason Adam pitched yesterday. He retired all 6 batters he faced in spring. 22 total pitches. Now, probably not the best for the Padres or Jason Adam for him to be so electric up there, because they really needed to see how he fielded his position. So
He should have just asked one of the guys on the Mariners, listen, I will give you $500 if you just bunt, please. Just one time, bunt.
So I look at the I was distracted by a comment in the YouTube chat. Let me lock it back in. I got to address that in a second. Jason Adam retired all 6 batters he faced in spring. He's coming off the quad tendon surgery in September. He's going to miss opening day. He'll likely be back, though, after the quick 10 days, because they say he's going to be back April 6th against the Pirates. So he misses the first 3 series, which is against the Tigers, it's against the Giants, and it's against the Boston Red Sox in Boston. The Padres are being extremely cautious with the workload and back-to-backs with Jason Adams. So the Padres are definitely protecting Jason Adam right now. I think if it was up to Jason, he'd be ready to go on opening day. But it's not about his performance. This is about his durability over 162 games. So with that information, that opens the door for somebody else in this bullpen. That opens up the door for somebody that probably wasn't going to make this team that is now going to make this team. And you start going through the bullpen, right? We know that Mason Miller is going to be the closer. Anybody have any qualms with that, Frank? You have any qualms with that? No. Adrian Morejon has been announced that he's going to be the setup man while Jason Adam is on the injured list. You're going to have Jeremiah Estrada. David Morgan is going to make this team. I mean, we're starting to, that's half the bullpen already. Wandy Peralta is going to be on this team. You knew that was going to be the case. And now it gets to the interesting questions. So that's 5 off the board. You got 3 more spots, and that's Yuki Matsui. That's Bradgley Rodriguez. That's Kyle Hart. That's Ron Marinaccio. And that's where we're at with this potential opening of a spot due to Jason Adam being on the injured list. That's also not including, by the way, because those are guys on the 40-man roster. That's not including the non-roster invitees. Those are guys like a Logan Gillespie. He's another guy that, might be able to make the team. Although, did they send him to minor league camp? Did we see that?
I believe they have, yes.
Then that decision's been already made. So take that back. I couldn't remember if he was one of the guys that was sent or not. So that opens the door for Bradgley Rodriguez. And then now when you're doing this type of work in terms of like trying to fill out the bullpen, I think Ron Marinaccio is on this team. I really do. I think Ron Marinaccio is on this team for the San Diego Padres. I think he has earned it through the WBC, and he's out of options. So I think he will definitely make this team. But who knows? I mean, the Padres might not think he was up to snuff in that particular deal. Have we heard anything about Yuki Matsui, Frank?
No.
I haven't heard anything about him, at least off the top of my head.
We heard that he was back throwing bullpens, but other than that, we haven't heard a thing about him beyond that.
Yeah, he hasn't been like we haven't seen him pitch or anything.
No. And
I was going to assume, which you can't assume, I was going to assume he was probably going to be on the injured list.
And by the way, this was from Sunday from Padres Twitter. We have optioned left-handed pitcher J.P. Sears to El Paso and reassigned Jace Bowen, Carlos Rodriguez, Jose Miranda, and Logan Gillespie.
That's where it was. Camp. He was buried on that one. That's why I didn't see it. All right, so you're going to have Miller, Morejon, Estrada, Morgan, Peralta. And then you're going to have Ron Marinaccio probably. Which gives you what, 6? And that gives you 2 left?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Kyle Hart, and I think it's going to be Bradgley Rodriguez. I honestly think that's not even that big of a question now at this point in time. I mean, you're running out of players. Unless Alec Jacob makes the team. But I don't think, was Alec Jacob sent to the minor league camp? Because he's not on this roster either.
Yes, he was. And Sam just texted me that Yuki will start the year on the IL.
Which is what we thought.
Thank you, Sam.
I knew we were going to have some information on that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's your bullpen right there. Sam just texted me too. Thank you, Sam. So your bullpen now is pretty much set. I mean, are there any real question marks now? I guess the question mark still whether or not Ron Marinaccio makes the team, but I don't know who else would be on this team because Brian Hoeing is not going to be playing. He's still listed on the depth chart. They sent Omar Cruz down to minor league camp a while ago.
Yeah, this is from Saturday. We've optioned Mason McCoy and Alec Jacob to AAA and reassigned Marco Gonzalez, Tristan McKenzie, Rodolfo Duran, Francisco Acuna, Nick Schnell, Nick Solak, and Pablo Reyes to minor league camp. That was from Saturday.
All right, so I think we got the lineup, or should I say the opening day roster. When we come back, we'll talk about the opening day roster. It's not the official opening day roster. I do want to be clear about that. We'll talk about what we think will be announced as an opening day roster just by, piecing this thing together based on context clues. But as of right now, I think it's pretty straightforward. We'll talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. The NHL is about to have its most chaotic playoffs in years. And honestly, it's exactly what the league needed. Look at who's in right now. The Buffalo Sabres, the Utah Mammoth, Anaheim Ducks are back. These are not your usual playoff teams the last couple of years. Meanwhile, teams like Toronto, Washington, even the LA Kings are on the outside looking in. This isn't just a playoff race. This is a full-on power shift in the National Hockey League. And here's the scary part. Some of these new teams aren't just happy to be there. They're legit dangerous. The Sabres are red hot. Utah has one of the best wild card projections to make a run, and the East is completely wide open. We might be heading toward a Stanley Cup playoffs where the old guards get knocked out and they get knocked out early. And if that happens, it could completely reshape the league moving forward. So the question is simple. Are we watching the NHL change right in front of us, or will the stars like McDavid and McKinnon remind everyone who still runs this league? The big picture, though, Frank, new blood is starting to take over.
Yeah, we're officially inside 1 month to go until the Stanley Cup playoffs. And the biggest storyline right now is that this postseason is going to look very, very different. Teams like the Buffalo Sabres, Anaheim Ducks, Utah Mammoth, Columbus Blue Jackets are in positions to get in, while traditional powerhouses like the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Washington Capitals, Pittsburgh Penguins are barely holding on, and the LA Kings are either out or fighting for their lives. This is not just a great race to the playoffs. It feels more like a changing of the guard in the NHL right now.
Yeah, I'm going to start in the Western Conference as a Western Conference fan. I'll let you talk about the Eastern Conference as an Eastern Conference fan. But out West, it's a different story than what's going on in the East. The Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars are absolute monsters out in the Western Conference. And whoever gets stuck playing them early, well, good luck to try to take on the Avs or the Stars. Meanwhile, the Utah Mammoth are one of the best wild card bets to make a run, and the Pacific is wide open compared to the Central. I mean, you look at this weekend, the Anaheim Ducks really capitalized because everybody else in the Pacific lost and continued to lose. Anaheim continues to play some very thrilling hockey. They won on Sunday night. Last minute, they had a lead early in the contest. They blew the lead. Then they had to rally back late. They won in overtime. And with how everything is playing out right now for the Anaheim Ducks and the Pacific Division, it's pretty fun to watch the Western Conference. But let's head out east.
Yeah, absolutely. The Eastern Conference has been just as fun. The Buffalo Sabres right now currently on an absolute heater at 9-1 in their last 10 games. They've played very, very good hockey as of late. A great change to see from what they have been. The Tampa Bay Lightning are still steady, but they're not the dominant team that they have been in years. And the Florida Panthers, who have been the guard in the Eastern Conference, back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, are sitting down in eighth place in the wild card. So they're more or less out of it. Wild card race is total madness right now. The Bruins, the Islanders, the Ottawa Senators, the Detroit Red Wings are all fighting for a spot. And the key right now is the Ottawa Senators still have life, but their schedule is absolutely brutal with most playoff teams left. They just beat the Islanders, I believe, on Friday night. And the Islanders did themselves a favor by beating the Columbus Blue Jackets over the course of the weekend as well.
Let's talk about some of the potential matchups that you might see in the playoffs and what matchups might be the best. We're lining up some incredible first-round possibilities. You could have the Stars take on the Wild, which feels like a conference final in round one. You could have the Avalanche take on the Sharks, Macklin Celebrini and Nathan McKinnon, must watch. Sabres and Canadians, insane atmosphere, high scoring. Oilers and Kings again, pure chaos and memes. And you could potentially get the Ducks and the Predators, messy, high scoring, and unpredictable hockey.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, the way it sits right now, as of March 23rd, as we record this, it'd be Hurricanes, Islanders, the 1-8, Sabres, Blue Jackets, Lightning, Penguins, Montreal, and Boston in the Eastern Conference. In the West, the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars have already clinched their spots. It would be Colorado, Nashville, Dallas, Edmonton, Minnesota, Vegas, and then Anaheim, Utah, with Anaheim, your Quackers, getting the home ice advantage in that pairing, as well as the number 4 seed at the moment.
Is this finally the year the NHL's middle class takes over? Because right now the league feels deeper than ever. The gap between contenders and wild cards is shrinking, and some of these new teams don't look scared at all. If you're a traditional power, this is the most dangerous playoff field we've seen in years. 10:35 on a Tuesday. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We are broadcasting live for the Bill House Studios. We know how. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking. It's better. Would you consider us being on the SDCCU text fan hotline with Sam Levitt?
Well, it's still technically spring training, so he would be on the David P. Shapiro text line.
Well, his coverage would be sponsored by David.
Well,
P.
that was coverage, was it not? Telling us that Yuki Matsui.
Yeah, but the coverage is David P. Shapiro, but the line that he's on is SDCCU. It's both.
Fair enough. He's on both.
He's on both.
Both?
He's on both.
Both? Both.
Yes. Both.
Both is good.
He's on both.
Both is good.
Although it's a text line this time because we didn't call him. He also texted us. I didn't know that phone dialed out ever. Didn't know that was a thing. I thought he just received calls. He never dialed. He never sends calls.
I think Sam owes us 80 cents or whatever the standard text rate is.
Yeah, where's my
now.
text fee? Yeah, exactly. Some of us don't have unlimited plans, right? All right, here's the deal. I think we basically know what the opening day roster is on this team, aside from maybe a couple of question marks that might be injuries or on a couple of decisions. There might be a name that we are not talking about that ends up making the team. But based on how the Padres have kind of stacked things here during spring training and with some injuries, the decisions are not difficult now. They're going to be difficult later because when healthy bodies come back, that's when you're going to have difficult decisions to make if everybody plays well. Now, if guys aren't playing well, that's going to be very easy decisions for the Padres. I do got to say this. Pour one out, man, for our fridge watcher friend. He decided to take his kids to Disneyland on Thursday. Bro, what? Of all the days? That's what tomorrow should have been for. You take your kids to Disneyland on Wednesday, not on opening day. I don't know how many fridges in Disneyland, dude, are going to have the Padre game on.
Well,
it's a huge foul on a fridge watcher. Now, who knows? It's just not. The thing is, it's not going to be the same. Like, opening day is not like a huge deal in terms of like people not going to Disneyland because of opening day. So I don't even think he's going to like break the lines. You might get stuck with spring break people still.
You're even worse. You're not going to break the lines because Anaheim's starting in Houston.
What time does that game start?
1:00.
Oh, well, you know what? Maybe everybody's going to go watch it's the Angels, dude. Are we kidding? At this point, are any Angels fans actually rooting for their team? That text you sent me from that Reddit page was hilarious. I know the morning show said that word. I still don't feel comfortable saying that word. You know, when there's like a chair in the corner of the hotel room, you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So some Angels fan asked at what level of me spending money to my billionaire owner for him to not invest in the team does that make me that chair?
Make me the person sitting in the chair.
Yes. I think that's a valid question for all Angels fans. Yeah, the viewing chair. Exactly. It's exactly what that is. I mean, the Angels, we're talking Padres baseball here, and we're going to get back to the roster in a second. This is how bad the Angels are in this particular category of just dumb things. So, like, during COVID, you didn't travel your broadcast team. Made sense? Okay. Let's not add more risk to our selective group that's going to have to travel, that could potentially get illness, right? All that stuff. All right. Understandable. And then once COVID went away, it's like, all right, let's send the radio crews back on the road. The Angels are still not doing that. But here's what's even crazier to me is the Angels played the Dodgers the last couple of days. They're going to play them in LA again today. They played in Anaheim over the weekend, and they're playing in Los Angeles Monday, Tuesday. So today will be the last day that the Angels play the Dodgers in terms of this little spring training freeway series thing.
6-0 against the Dodgers last year as well.
They own the Dodgers somehow. I don't know. Whatever type of mojo they got, we got to go get. I guess it's if you're just going to be locked in on being one of the worst organizations in baseball, maybe your benefit is, well, at least you can beat the Dodgers.
Can we borrow Mickey and Goofy for one weekend, please?
Easy. So the Angels are in LA, aren't they in LA, right? Aren't they both in LA? Right, Artie? Aren't they both? Aren't you Los Angeles? Aren't you the Los Angeles Angels? Aren't you the Angels
of Anaheim?
Of Anaheim? Of Fullerton? Of Irvine? Aren't you? Of Santa Ana? So you're not traveling your radio crew to Dodger Stadium? Last night, the Angels radio crew broadcasted the game from Angel Stadium while they were playing at Dodger Stadium, and they were doing it off monitors. I mean, at what point is a broadcaster like, can I just drive up there? Like, can I just, we're in the same city. The California Angels of Los Angeles, Fullerton, Anaheim, Santa Ana. Really? How much money are they actually saving? I mean, they got to run the bill at Angels Stadium. We got to keep the power on so those guys can call the games. I mean, what are we doing?
Did you see what people are calling the saddest thing at Angel Stadium this year?
That entire stadium's sad, so that's going to be really tough.
Is the printed vinyl billboard
of Alek Manoah
wrapped around the post. It's like, what are we doing?
There's a pole in front of it, too. You can't even see the whole thing.
It's like, what are we doing, boys? It's like, it's one thing if the whole roster's there, but if you're picking the star players, which is usually what you do for those kind of things, Alek Manoah?
I guess.
You could probably get away with Kurt Suzuki and half the people there thinking he's still playing.
That's accurate. That's 100% accurate. The Angels games are depressing. Go to an Angels game. The stadium's depressing. It doesn't make any sense with Big Thunder Mountain out there in center field at all. And the team's terrible. And then you're just watching just Mike Trout just wither away to nothing. It's just so sad. It's just everything about the Angels is sad.
When they're
named after something that's supposed to be in heaven. They are the furthest thing from heaven. I mean, watching them play.
When they eventually build a new place, of course, after Artie Moreno's long gone, they are going to, over the site, because you know how they usually put like a parking lot, or at least in City Field.
Yeah, they get the Shea, this is where home plate was at Shea Stadium.
Where home plate and first base and second base and the pitcher's mound were. They are going to put a memorial. Here lie the career of Mike Trout.
We ruined his career.
We are sorry for everything we did to you.
I can't do. The Angels are just I think last night we're playing softball and one of the guys my brother and his friends decided to make it jersey night and everybody wore a jersey. I didn't have time to go home yesterday, so I basically went straight there. I had a working man's day yesterday with the amount of time I was out of the house before I went to softball. And one of them had an Angels jersey. Billy had an Angels jersey, and it was a sweet throwback California Angels jersey, and it was a Trout one. And my friend's like, "Oh, I love that's so cute. I love that jersey." I'm like, the Angels have some cool stuff. The Angels are an American League team, just up the road. It would be. I mean, I've always liked the Angels and their logo, all that stuff is like a second team. It's so depressing watching them play baseball.
They have cool stuff, just not players.
I mean, you get to hear Calling All Your Angels for 45 minutes before the game starts. I guess that's a perk of Angels baseball.
Is it though?
I mean, most of the people that are at the game still they bought tickets to the Supercross and they showed up late. They're just tailgating, waiting for the next Supercross event. All the people from Corona cruising over there. That's kind of your typical Angels fan.
Welcome to the Rip on the Angels.
Anybody else want to jump on the Angels? As somebody that owns a lot of Angels gear because they are my quote American League team. I think everybody deserves an American League team, just as long as they don't root for them over the Padres. They're depressing. They're depressing.
Okay, no, you cannot equate Augie in the chat. The Angels did to Mike Trout what Pittsburgh did to Andrew McCutchen.
Nah.
Andrew McCutchen was never on that level. Andrew McCutchen was never the best player in the league.
Plus, they freed McCutchen a couple times.
Yes, they did. They let him go.
They freed McCutchen a couple of times.
They allowed him to spread his wings and fly away.
How about this? You got two organizations in Anaheim. One that wants nothing to do with Anaheim, the Angels. They don't even say they just say your Angels when they announce them, and everything like that. And then you have the Ducks who embrace Orange County, and they have OC on one of their sleeves. I mean, they wear orange just for like the Orange County part of things. I mean, talk about, and you wonder why that they have packed out stadiums, arenas. The Honda Center's packed every time I go there for a game, even when they're not good.
Which, by the way, from Sunday,
Augie had it first.
Oh, I know he did. Overtime winner.
You know, they had a big lead and they blew it, and they had to come.
Yes,
they had to be the
I was
Miracle
paying
Ducks
attention
again. Yeah, absolutely. So you have one organization that's kicking ass. That's building a brand new arena. They're upgrading the Honda Center. They're upgrading everything around the Honda Center. It's like, oh, look at this, is great. We're getting sellouts every night. They got a young team. It's fun. It's exciting. They've won. You know, they both won a championship relatively within 5 years of each other. One organization is going through the roof after a little bit of a delay, and the other one is just like, we're not going to send our radio team on the road to Los Angeles that we also claim as our territory.
Go Aztecs. At least they're home to the legend Anthony Rendon. Can you remember anything that Anthony Rendon did in an Angels uniform other than assaulting that fan in Oakland?
Yeah, and then verbally assaulting media members.
Yeah, is there anything that you remember from Anthony Rendon's tenure as an Angel on the field?
Anthony Rendon, more World Series championships than Mike Trout.
That's not even incorrect.
No, the guy went to Rice. Come on, take it for what it's worth. Anthony Rendon in an Angels uniform. How many games did he play? He played in 257 games for the Angels over 5 years. That's not bad. That's more than I thought. A lot more than I thought. All right.
Year and 3 quarters?
I guess. Let's get to the Padres lineup here. The Padres opening day roster. I mean, I could rip the Angels all day. It's kind of funny, but at some point you're just beating a dead horse. They already know it. Most of their fans make fun of them more than we do. All right. I think the position players are set. Obviously, we talked about Camposano and Fermin at catcher. Do you have any differences on that? Is that what you got down?
No.
Okay.
No differences, meaning.
Right, yeah. Bogarts, Cronenworth, France, Machado are on this team as your infielders, according to their website. Again, the website says these guys are your only infielders. Outfielders and again, they will play some of the in the infield as well. Andujar, Castellanos, Johnson, Laureano, Merrill, Sheets, Tatis. That's what you got too?
Fair enough.
Okay. Injured list, Sung Moon Song.
Yes.
All right. In terms of the pitching staff, Pivetta, King, Vasquez, Buehler, Marquez.
Yes.
If it hasn't really officially been announced yet, but it's kind of been announced that that's going to be your first time through the rotation. For sure.
we know what the first 3 are going to be as well, and they're going to be Pivetta, King, Vasquez.
And then we already know that Buehler's making the team, and it sounds like Armand Marquez is making the team, which means
that is a great. By the way, we went through it yesterday. That is a fantastic opening weekend of starting pitching at Petco Park. What was it? It was Skubal, Pivetta, Valdez, King, and Flaherty,
Vasquez.
That is a fantastic weekend of pitching.
You're gonna have good pitching this weekend for sure. All right, so that's your starting group. Your bullpen in the back end is going to be Miller, Morahone, Estrada, Morgan would be my guess. Maybe Wandy Peralta as a lefty. And then that's where you have the 3 question marks of who's making the team. Now, I think Ron Marinaccio is on this team for sure. I think Ron Marinaccio has made this team. And just to preface this, Jason Adam, injured list. Yuki Matsui, injured list. Matt Waldron, injured list. Joe Musgrove, injured list. Griffin Canning is going to be on the injured list as well. So from that perspective, you're left with whoever you didn't move to minor league camp. And honestly, when you look through it, there's not a lot of options for the Padres in terms of the active roster of guys making this team that are still in Major League camp. It's Kyle Hart, Ron Marinaccio, Bradgley Rodriguez, Omar Cruz, which I thought got sent down to minor league camp. I mean, they still got Brian Hoeing on the website, which, he's going to be out for the year with the surgery he's going to get, or he already got. I think your bullpen, when it's announced on Thursday, is going to be Miller, Morejon, Estrada, Morgan, Peralta, Marinaccio, Rodriguez, and Hart. I think Hart's going to be your long relief guy. That's where I think the bullpen's going to be. But those last three guys, I'm not 100% lock them in confident yet.
I would say the fact that Marinaccio has not been sent to minor league camp just yet, I think is a good sign for him. Bradley Rodriguez pitched yesterday, got the win yesterday, and Kyle Hart makes sense as the second lefty. So, I mean, I would not be surprised at all. I'd be more surprised if the roster that we've whittled down to what we just said isn't what it's going to be on Thursday.
I could see like a situation where they have somebody else maybe instead of Bradgley Rodriguez just to keep him part of the organization. But most of those candidates, Frank, have already been sent to minor league camp. They've already made that decision.
Mm-hmm.
So this to me is your opening day roster. But that doesn't account for AJ Preller making a trade the day before, which is highly possible because what did they do? They signed to a minor league deal yesterday, Jose Leclerc. Signed a minor league deal. He could be a late inning arm when healthy. Leclerc. And it's interesting that they just signed him like 2 days before the season starts.
Omar Cruz got sent down on the 3rd.
Yeah, he got sent down a while ago,
Mm-hmm.
I thought. He's still listed on the depth chart, which has moved around multiple times already. But I think that's your opening day roster. Now, there's some other things with the Padres that, with some of the information that we got from yesterday out of the game. Armand Marquez ended on a high note. 4 2/3 innings, 1 earned run in his final outing. He pitched against the Mariners. Now, a lot of that was not against some of the players that you would see play for the Mariners on an everyday basis. He was able to face some of them, though. I think the big reason why Kyle Hart started yesterday, now I'm convinced of this, we talked about it at the end of the show. I think Kyle Hart started the game yesterday just to go against
major leaguers
in an inning, which makes me feel like he's going to be on this team because I don't think there's anybody else that might take his spot unless I'm missing somebody off the top of my head. But I think Armand Marquez did pretty well on a high note. I think he did a pretty good job of competing. I think the competition was great for this team in spring training. Over the last 4 games, the starting pitching hasn't been that great with, Vazquez, Pivetta, and King and all this other stuff. But they've made it through the minor league camp now, and you could start with brand new numbers and just let these guys play at a regular level and start to start to evaluate players with what they're doing in actual major league games. And for the majority of our conversation of spring training, it was about they're going to have to make tough decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they've kicked those decisions down the road for another month.
Yeah, for sure. They absolutely have, which is, not bad. We said that these kind of things work themselves out. They kind of figure themselves out, and that's exactly what it's done here with the opening day roster. And looking through the chat here, Go Aztecs asking, still curious, with Tristan McKenzie reassigned to minor league camp means he'll still be on the team and will not be claimed, correct? Yes. He signed a minor league deal with an invite to spring training. So he is a Padre minor league. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I don't think he's got the he might be on the same deal as Jose Miranda, where his chance to opt out is later than right now. The only one that was Ty France, and they put him on the team. So we'll see. We'll see what the rosters are on Thursday. When we come back, as we continue our Padres conversation. Manny Machado to get more rest in 2025? We'll see how that plays out. 11 o'clock on a Tuesday. We got some fun broadcasts this week. This is what I love about opening day and opening week is we get to be out there with all of you downtown at live remotes. We love doing the live remotes. We love when you guys come by and say hi. So we're going to be live at Baja Rick's on Thursday for opening day. We got a 2-hour show that day. We're going to be on from 10 to noon on Thursday, but Ben and Woods are going to be there at 6 in the morning. You're already taking the day off from work. You're not, if you're going to the baseball game, if you're going to opening day, don't try to get extra work in. There's no reason to. They're going to forget about it anyway. Get your stuff done Wednesday. Thursday, you're taking the entire day off. You're taking the entire day off Thursday. And you're coming down to Baja Rick's bright and early.
Or you're going to Disneyland. One of the two.
If you watch our show on a fridge, you're probably going to Disneyland on Thursday. That's neither here nor there. But I will say this. Get down there early. Go hang out with Ben and Woods. And then here's the deal. The park doesn't open until what? 90 minutes prior? So you got to hang out somewhere. So hang out with us. Get that. You want to get down there early and park and everything. You want to enjoy your time downtown. You don't want to be showing up downtown at noon. You do not want to be showing downtown at 12:30. I mean, if you are not downtown before noon, it's not going to be a fun experience. It's just not. Get down there early. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself. But what I'm telling you is you don't want to get to the ballpark on opening week anytime under an hour before first pitch. You're not going to enjoy yourself. You're going to be stressed. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be like Frank driving in traffic. And nobody likes when Frank drives in traffic. Frank doesn't like driving in traffic. You should see on mornings where Frank had to drive in nasty traffic, he has to go in one of these studios that's soundproof and just scream for about 5 minutes. And you know what? He feels like $1 million after, but they don't have those for you at Petco Park. It's not, you don't want to be the guy that's getting kicked out of Petco Park and you didn't even get to drink before then. You're just angry. So get down to the ballpark early, get to downtown early, come hang out with us at Baja Rick's. A lot of the people from the YouTube chat usually come down. So Prolific said he was going to be there. I know Rod's going to be there. I mean, we got a lot of good guys and gals that are going to come down and hang out with us before the game. You got to come out and do it. Baja Rick's, 11 o'clock. We're going to be there from 10 to noon on Thursday. Now, there's more. But wait, there's more. We are also going to be doing a fun day of broadcast from 10 in the morning to 4 p.m. on Saturday for the Padres game. Final game of the series, by the way. There's no Sunday game this year in opening weekend. Sunday, the Padres are off. They're going to play the Tigers Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And for Saturday's game, we are going to be at the East Village Block Party on March 28th, which is Saturday. We're going to be at Far Corner, which is at 410 10th Avenue downtown. Ben and Woods will be there 10 to 12. I will be there 12 to 2. And Gwen and Chris will be there after me and Frank at from 2 to 4. Again, if you're going to any of the games, get down there early, be a pro. It's time to be a pro. Be the adult that goes down there early and enjoys the time. When I go to events, and I'm probably going to text about this with my mom, anytime I've done growing up, she doesn't understand how much better and more enjoyable it would be if you get down there early and you don't have to stress about things. It's way better that way. The best thing to do when you go to a Padre game is you get down early, you enjoy yourself. Friday, they're going to have Beer Fest. It's great. First party in the park. You want to get there early for that. So the whole weekend, get down there early. If you're there less than an hour before first pitch, it's not going to be as enjoyable. It's still going to be great, but it's just more enjoyable if you get there before an hour before first pitch. I know not everybody could do that, but you got to do it as much. You got to do as best as you can. Got to do as best you can. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Again, Baja Ricks on Thursday, Far Corner on Saturday. Looking forward to it. I have 2 remotes in 3 days, Frank. You kidding me?
It's fun.
It is fun.
Absolutely fun.
Now, we have a shortened show on Thursday, but then we pick up the 2 extra hours on Saturday. So it's a full week for us anyway. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Rod in San Diego, kicking off the 11 o'clock hour. I know Rod's going to be out there. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on? Shout out to the chat fam. Shout out to you guys, Braden, Frank. And just want to vouch for you guys, man. Rookies out there, please don't be a rookie on opening day. What Braden is saying is true. If you need help, get with the seasoned veteran. Don't be a rookie. That's going to be the theme on opening day. Don't be a rookie. Get there early, like how he's saying. Enjoy the sights and sounds and the food. And can't wait to see you guys on Thursday.
Looking forward to it, Rod. We'll see you down there on Thursday. Don't be a rookie. I like that.
Rod forgot to give a shout out. Shout out Wisconsin for winning the NCAA championship.
Ah, poor Rod.
I'll take the foul on it.
He draws the foul.
Yeah, rookie equals windsock. I agree. Don't be a windsock. Get down there early. Come hang out. We're giving you a reason to come hang out with us. Get down there early. We'll be out there all week. We won't have a show on Friday live down there, but I'll be at the game on Friday. Going down there. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We know Kevin in Chula Vista is no rookie when he goes to Padres games. What do you got for us today, Kevin?
Well, hey, guys, and happy, what do we call this, the eve before the eve of opening season? So,
opening day eve.
Opening day eve. There you have it. And it's great that baseball is going to be back. And, if you're a pure baseball fan, this means that pretty much every night now is planned. If you're really, especially hardcore Padre fan, night times are pretty much booked up now. You don't have to watch MeTV reruns anymore of Carol Burnett and Matlock and all those guys. So I'm really happy about that. Anyway, having said that, I think a key opening part to the season that we should focus on is the middle relief guys, because we know that the starting staff, with all of the various aches and pains, injuries, what have you, these guys are pretty much going to be destined, the starters, I think, unless there's a surprise there, 3 to 4 innings. So you're going to be relying on that middle relief bullpen pitcher a lot in the beginning. And I think that's going to be really, really fundamental to how well these guys get out of the gate. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to come. We talked about this, and Kevin, appreciate the phone call. We talked about this a decent amount throughout the spring training about whether you're going to do a 4-man rotation, which was kind of crazy, a 5-man rotation or a 6-man rotation. The biggest problem was you don't want to see the bullpen get taxed, and the rotations got to get into. They got to get you innings, and they got to get you 5 innings, at least at the beginning part of the year. And I know there's a lot of question marks, but if the Padres get into a situation early in the season where guys are going like 3 or 4 innings before the bullpen has to come save them, it's going to be a rough start to the year, because that's going to tax these guys later on in the season. So the rotation's got to be able to get you innings to start the year. And I think Nick Pivetta is going to be able to do it. I'm a little curious about Michael King coming back, just because he was a little shaky in spring training. But I think, and I don't want to make the weather an excuse, but where a lot of these guys were starting to get tagged, the weather in Arizona was like over 100 degrees, and the ball just travels with the light air. So I'm going to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. So we'll see what happens with the rotation, the bullpen. But the bullpen, somebody had them ranked like the second highest in Major League Baseball behind the Brewers. I disagree with that. The Padres have the best bullpen in baseball, and I honestly don't even think it's that particularly close. But in order to be the best bullpen still, you have to keep them preserved. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Kevin in Spring Valley, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Kevin?
What's going on, man? I'm just first time that I'm going to be going to opening day, bringing my daughters,
Nice.
5 and 9. Kind of just seeing as a first time, person, the opening day with my daughters, like what
what is like a big thing I need to do?
A big thing. Well, you got to come hang out with us first of all. That's a little shameless plug there. But Kevin, opening day. First of all, it's really cool you get to bring your daughters to opening day. I, as a kid, never got to go to opening day, and I get to cherish that now, being able to go all the time. But the cool thing to do on opening day is, it's just kind of tough. Like opening day is a little bit better because you don't have as many. It's during the daytime, so the gas lamp doesn't get too crazy, because you got younger kids. But if you get there early and go to you got to go to the park in the park area, especially for kids, right? They got the zones and stuff like that. And then I think it's like the power alley or something is what they have behind right field. They got a couple of other like games and stuff for kids to do. So it's pretty fun. It's going to be a good time. If they've never been to Petco Park before, like that outdoor area is the place to be, especially for your little kid. They got like a great little playground back there, and they got the park in the park where you can hit wiffle balls and stuff like that.
We probably should have asked. He's still on the line here. Kevin, how old are your daughters?
He said 5 and 9.
Oh, 5 and 9? You did?
Yeah, thanks for listening.
5 and 9.
Okay.
Have they been to Petco Park before?
Have they
Not
been?
as crazy as opening day though, so I wanted them to experience that, and I will. I'll stop by and come and say hi to you, say hi to everyone. 97 through the fan, you guys are amazing. You guys are awesome, and can't wait for this season to start.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We appreciate it, dude. Thanks again, and hopefully it's so cool. Your kids get to have a great time on opening day. If it's spring break, even better. If not, you know what? They're going to learn more at opening day than they are at the in school. That's what I'll say. Anyway, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, Padres want Manny Machado to rest a little bit more. Manny Machado's quote in this particular article by Kevin Acee said, "I'll rest when I'm in the ground." We'll see how this goes. We'll talk about it next on the Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Tyler Reddick, again. Tyler Reddick didn't just win at Darlington. He survived it. Reddick now has 4 wins in the first 6 NASCAR races this season, something only Dale Earnhardt and Bill Elliott have ever done. But here's the crazy part. Everything went wrong. He had a failing alternator, no cool suit in the heat, a terrible 16-second pit stop, and even a late race incident. At one point, he was 7 seconds behind the leader, and somehow he still won. He chased down Brad Keselowski. He made the pass with under 30 laps to go and pulled away. That's not luck. That's dominance. So here's the question. Is Tyler Reddick the best driver in NASCAR right now, or is this just the start of something even bigger? Frank, what can you say about Tyler Reddick?
It was an absolutely fantastic race that he ran. And as you mentioned there in that open, he's joined elite company here. He's on a historic run with his win. 4 wins in the first 6 races. That's only been done by Dale Earnhardt in 1987. He won the championship that year, and Bill Elliott in 1992. So he did not win the championship that year, but that is very, very elite company, and that is the company he is in right now. But not even that tells the full story of how he won this race at Darlington yesterday.
Yeah, officially on a historic run, as you just mentioned. But how did he win? Well, everything went wrong, and he still won. That wasn't a clean race for Tyler Reddick over the weekend. Not even close. I mean, he dealt with a failing alternator from the start, no driver cooling system in brutal heat, a 16-second pit stop issue, a restart from the back of the field, and even a late race collision. At one point, he was 7 seconds behind the leader in Brad Keselowski, who led for 142 laps. Most drivers would have faded. Reddick didn't. He was able to methodically drive back through the field, catch Keselowski, and with just under 30 laps to go, make the pass for the lead and never looked back.
Yeah, no, and Brad Keselowski and that whole entire RFK team was running tribute paint schemes to the late Greg Biffle. They all had Biffle's number set on the car, both Keselowski, Ryan Preece, and Chris Buescher, and all of them were very, very good. There was a point in that race where they were running first, second, and fourth in that race about halfway through. But yeah, for Reddick, failing alternator, I believe they changed the battery on one of the pit stops. The drivers have been complaining all season long about how hot this new car is and how hot the car runs during the race. So for him to not have a cool suit working was brutal for him in the start. And then that late race collision where, from what we've seen, Chris Buescher was trying to make a late move into the pits, and Reddick just didn't see him and didn't make it, didn't catch him in time, ended up punting him into turn 3 and putting him in the wall. But one of those races where you had to really overcome if you're Tyler Reddick, and he did just that.
Yeah, patience under pressure, elite race pace, most importantly, mental toughness for Tyler Reddick. Even co-owner Michael Jordan pointed out one key factor. Reddick never lost his composure. At a track known as too tough to tame, he proved he can handle chaos better than anyone else. And here's what's coming up next. NASCAR Cup Series now heads to Martinsville Speedway, short track where tempers flare and momentum can shift quickly. But right now, all eyes are on Tyler Reddick for the insane start that he has had to the NASCAR season.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big question is right now, is Tyler Reddick the best driver in NASCAR? Because he's not just winning, it's how he's winning. He's overcoming mistakes, bad luck, mechanical issues, and still beating the field. So is this just a hot start, or are we watching the beginnings of a dominant championship season? And for me, I wouldn't call him the best pure driver in NASCAR. There are a lot of guys who are just as good as Tyler Reddick has been. They just have not had the luck. Chevrolet has a brand new body that they have not won with yet, that is giving them a lot of fits. There are a lot of great drivers in the Chevy camp that just have not been able to show it. Ryan Blaney, over the course of this season, has had several pit stop issues. It happened twice at Phoenix. It happened again at Darlington, where he had to stop in a teammate's pit box further down pit road because his crew left a tire loose. So there are a lot of guys who could reach that level that Tyler Reddick is at. Reddick's just gotten there first, and he's been able to maintain it, which has been the key here so far in this early season run.
Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. We got baseball back tomorrow. Baseball is back. Opening night is live on Netflix this Wednesday, March 25th. Is Frank Marchese's favorite baseball player, Aaron Judge, and the New York Yankees clash with Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. MLB opening night, Yankees, Giants, live on Netflix, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I will tell you this. We are the worst foul.
Brother,
the worst.
You got 2 fouls left.
We are the worst show for them to put that promo in for. The only thing that would have made it worse is if it was like Yankees Dodgers, but Yankees Giants is equally like 2 rivals duking it out tomorrow. I mean, are you kidding me?
Let's make it official here.
Nice.
He draws the foul.
You have 2 fouls left.
Are we doing NBA fouls?
Well, no, that's 4. We were going to 6 for college.
There's only 5 in college.
I thought there were 4. I thought there were 6.
No,
all
that's
right,
in the
you got
NBA.
1 left.
No, there you go.
You got 1 left.
You can do the rest of the show. Anyway. 833-288-973. 833-288-973. Let's talk about the Manny Machado situation. I thought this was interesting. So, the core storyline that Kevin Acee wrote about was Manny Machado and the Padres. And the Padres want Manny to, rest a little bit more. It's the Manny Machado rest debate. Okay? So, Machado's I don't know if you really need to say what his mentality is. I mean, what does Manny do all the time?
Play baseball.
He posts. The guy always plays. Even when he had that ankle problem, he came back in like 10 days. His ankle was like totally jacked up. He's still playing. he plays. So as much, and here's the thing about Manny. This is what I love about Manny. Okay, Manny Machado. For all the flack that he gets, right? I mean, he gets a lot of flack from a lot of people outside of San Diego. I think some people in San Diego give him flack too. They give him that derogatory Johnny Hustle nickname and stuff. I'm going to tell you what, that guy's always playing though. So say what you want about Manny Machado. He could be Anthony Rendon that just doesn't play and doesn't want to play. This guy wants to play. He plays hurt all the time. There's never a question about how much he wants to be out there and playing. Never. I don't think there's not a lot of baseball players like Manny Machado anymore that's like, I'm playing every day. He had this quote in the article, I'll rest when I'm in the ground. That's what he feels like about playing baseball. This guy's going to play. He has pride built on durability, playing every day, posting up as part of his identity. This is not like just a personal preference of his. This is who he is as a player. Manny posts. Now, here's what Craig Stammen has to say about the matter. Quote, he's going to get more rest. The organization has a clear plan. Use DH spots strategically, reduce wear and tear, protect long-term production. Padres are going to override Machado's instincts if needed. So why is this a conversation? Well, Kevin Acee put out some of the numbers of why it might be wise to give Manny a couple extra days off or to have him DH or to get off his feet. And you could talk a little bit about the late 2025 drop-off statistically that Manny Machado had. Through June 10th last year, Manny was hitting .325 with a .904 OPS. In his final 45 games, he hit .206 with a .613 OPS. The takeaway from those numbers, fatigue caught up to Manny Machado. Historical usage, insane workload for this guy. One of MLB leaders in games played since 2015. He started 149 games last season, rarely uses the DH spot, played through a grade 3 ankle sprain, what I talked about from 2022. He goes through multiple injuries without an IL stint. I mean, he's built his career on ignoring the physical limits that his body gives him. He just plays through it. But I also think the reality is he's also not 18 anymore or 19, however old he was when he came up with Baltimore, which I want to say he was a teenager when he came up. I was in college. And I remember this because my roommate in college was a Baltimore Orioles fan. He talked about how great this Manny Machado kid was. I'm like, oh, this guy's pretty good. Let's watch it when I was sitting in college and back when you could like watch MLB.TV all day long and all that stuff. Yeah, he made his debut at 19. He's not 19 anymore. He's 33. And he's going to turn 34 during the season. He's got 11 plus years of elite level wear and tear. Still productive, but he's about to approach the Father Time era, which is undefeated. It's coming eventually for Manny. Like, I don't think we've seen him really fall off too much, but he's going to start getting to a point where his production's going to decline a little bit. It's just natural. It's inevitable. So this is about maximizing what's left of his prime. He's on the tail end of his prime. I still think he's in his prime years, but he's on the opposite side. He's not increasing the prime years. He is on the tail end of said prime years. And where the strategic shift goes is you have a roster now where you could get Manny off his legs and he could DH. You got Nick Castellanos, Miguel Andujar. That provides flexibility to rotate players through a DH spot because they could play in the infield and they could play in the outfield. From an organizational philosophy, according to the article, AJ Preller wants rotating DH to keep stars fresh, but also values keeping best bats in the lineup daily. Rest versus offensive consistency. But from Manny Machado's legacy mindset, at 2,069 hits, 369 home runs on a clear Hall of Fame trajectory. He values his respect, the respect from his peers, playing every day, grinding it out over load management. And he does not want scheduled rest. He doesn't want a load management label. He doesn't want a reduced role. And the real conflict with this is Manny Machado believes that playing every day is greatness and rest is weakness from a mentality standpoint and from a competitive standpoint. So Machado believes he's got to play every day to be great. And if he doesn't, he's weak. And the Padres believe less games equals better production, and a fresh Machado in September is better than an Iron Man Machado in April. Why does this matter? This isn't just about rest days for Manny Machado. This is about lineup consistency, late season production, playoff readiness, clubhouse culture. If Fernando Tatis Jr. is that emotional engine that we talked about yesterday, Manny Machado is the grit and identity portion of this team. You mess with Manny Machado's routine, there's going to be some ripple effects across the team. Should the Padres force Manny Machado to rest, even if he doesn't want it? And that is a big question. Because Manny believes that playing every day is the sign of toughness and the sign of greatness. And the Padres are looking at it from a different perspective of, we want you fresh at the end of the season. I think it's an interesting conversation that really flirts with, we want to take care of our best player, one of our best players, but we also, in the process, don't necessarily want to upset said player. I think the question also of, did the Padres cost themselves in 2025 by not resting Machado earlier starts to rear a little bit with, you look at the numbers of how he did down the stretch. Could you be in a situation where the Padres are having that hindsight mindset of, we can't let what happened last year happen again this year? Should the Padres force Manny Machado to rest even if he doesn't want it? That's what we're going to debate when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. The NBA is sitting on a ticking time bomb right now, and it's all about Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, what's an update without talking about Giannis? The Milwaukee Bucks just made it crystal clear. Either Giannis signs a $275 million extension or they're trading him. There is no middle ground. But here's the problem. Milwaukee waited too long. This team is the 11 seed. They've had 3 straight early playoff exits, and their big move for Damian Lillard completely backfired. So now you're asking a 2-time MVP, a finals champion, and a guy who gave you everything to decide your future? That's not how this works. And the rest of the NBA, they're watching. The Lakers, the Warriors, the Heat, they're all lining up for a chance at Giannis because one move like that changes the entire league overnight. So here's the real question. Is Giannis staying loyal, or is this finally the end in Milwaukee? Let's start with the biggest story right now in the NBA. And honestly, the one that could reshape the entire league and one that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks on these updates, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Milwaukee Bucks, and heading toward a breaking point.
Yeah, the Bucks have made it clear either Giannis signs a 4-year, $275 million extension, or they trade him. No middle ground. No, let's see how this plays out. They're done. They're either signing him or they're done. And here's the problem. This isn't just about Giannis. What's really going on here is that the Bucks are 11th in the East, 3 straight early playoff exits, major roster gamble with Damian Lillard that failed. Ownership structure is complicated and possibly fractured. This is not a contending team anymore. It's a franchise at a crossroads, and they are kind of leaning on their star player to determine which direction they go in.
And the Bucks waited way too long. Here's the reality of the situation. Giannis gave Milwaukee everything. He gave him a championship. He gave him loyalty. He gave him his prime years. And now they're asking him to decide their future. That's backwards. If you're the Bucks, you should have either reloaded properly around him or traded him at peak value already. Now you're stuck in the worst spot in sports. You're not good enough to win, and you're not bad enough to rebuild cleanly. And everybody is waiting for the Bucks to make this decision. It's not just the Milwaukee story. Teams like the Lakers, the Golden State Warriors, the Miami Heat, they're all watching this. And why? Because Giannis is a league-altering player. If he moves, the entire power structure of the NBA shifts overnight. I mean, you look at this situation, it's really drastic to what the makeup of the league is going to be in the next handful of years, because Giannis is still that player, but the Bucks are in a worst situation possible in professional sports.
Yeah, they are in a worst case scenario moment right now, and there are a couple of other teams, and we'll say the Knicks in that fight for them too. I don't know how much they'd be willing to blow up the team they currently have to get him, but I mean, there are a lot of teams that are going to be very, very in on Giannis very, very quickly. I feel as though if and when he decides, you know what, I'm out playing here in Milwaukee, it's not worth it anymore.
Let's talk about what's going on around the league when it comes to the actual race in 2026. Some quick hitters, if you will. Let's start with Oklahoma City. I mean, they're the real deal. Best record in the league, 56-15. They're on an 11-game winning streak. Defense, number 1 in the NBA. And this is no longer a team that's young and coming. They're here, and they're here to compete, and they're going to be good for a long time.
Yeah, they have taken what they did last year and just continued to build upon that, which is something that you really want to see out of an organization. You also have the San Antonio Spurs, who since the 1st of February are 21-2, and Victor Wembanyama closing games already looking like a superstar, the superstar that they were expecting him to be after they lost their big three, and it kind of signaling for the Spurs that their rebuild is over and they are genuinely contenders now.
You knew they weren't going to be, down for long. No. Spurs are usually near the top of the league, and when they drafted Wembanyama, they were going to be a contender very quickly. 21-2 since February 1st is really impressive. Yes. Tony Gwynn Jr.'s Lakers starting to heat up. 9-game winning streak, elite in clutch situations. Luka Doncic is taking over late in games. They're a dangerous playoff team that nobody wants to see. And now, Luka Doncic was supposed to serve a suspension because if you get 16 technical fouls, you do have to set out a game. They have now rescinded that last technical foul, so Luka is active, ready to go this week. But Lakers are really heating up at the right time. Yeah, they absolutely are. However, injuries are still a major X factor, especially to these playoff teams. Big names like Steph Curry, Joel Embiid, Anthony Edwards are all still out. And the next 3 weeks are not about standings. They're about who gets healthy at the right time as we start to make the push towards the NBA postseason. All guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking. It's a better. Getting ready for the noon lunchtime hour here in a second. We got baseball starting tomorrow. We're excited for that. Maybe not excited on the teams, but we are excited for baseball to be back. It'll be the only time that Frank will root for the Giants, I guess. Just anti-Yankees. Can both teams lose? Is it possible? Game's gonna be on Netflix. They got the Usos showing up.
Yes, they do.
Does Netflix have a big deal with the WWE? Because
Monday Night Raw is on Netflix.
Was it Seth Rollins was on the Vikings?
Yeah, well, he's
broadcast game.
He's always on. He's become like a regular fixture on NFL Network, like a once a week spot. But yeah, the WWE does have a big partnership with Netflix now.
Yeah, that's why they're putting those guys on. Are they the pregame show, or are they going to be interviewed during the game?
God, I don't know.
Let me ask you this: if you're watching that as a neutral watcher of that game, because I don't really care for the Giants nor the Yankees, and it's good to have baseball back. It's it's just watching a national broadcast. I don't have too many qualms about it. But if that was a Padres game, and I'm watching a Padres game, and it's you're living and dying on pitches, which you can't do during the entire season because you're going to go insane. But that being said, if that was a Padres game and I'm like watching two WWE wrestlers get interviewed in the middle of the game, and that's like taking focus of the game, I'm going to be a little upset about it.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine if your team's just getting their ass kicked and you just got to listen to this interview with two guys from the WWE?
I'd be losing my mind.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, can we understand? Whatever happened to just like, I don't know.
And I like the WWE.
Watching the game? Can we just watch the game? Am I being too old man for this? I feel like most sports fans want to watch their team, and that's kind of it. I don't really want to hear a podcast during the game.
Now it all depends. Who's on the call?
I want to say Matt Vasgersian was doing the game, but I could be wrong. The Netflix crew, I think it was a lot of MLB Network people.
Matt Vasgersian, CC Sabathia, Hunter Pence, with Lauren Shahadi on as a field reporter. Postgame will be Ellie Duncan with Barry Bonds, Albert Pujols, and Anthony Rizzo. Which is, I mean, that's, you know what? I don't mind that booth. Matt Vasgersian's
I love Matty V.
Matt Vasgersian's a national guy. Sabathia, former Yankee. Pence, former Giant. I'll accept that. I will accept that.
You accept these terms?
Yes, I do accept those terms.
All right. Let's get to this Manny Machado conversation. We went to break. We talked about the article that Kevin Acee wrote about the fact that the Padres want to give Manny Machado more rest. Manny Machado is a guy that doesn't want more rest. I mean, we saw it with his chronic ankle injury that he had, his grade 3 ankle sprain he had in 2022. Guy still played through that. I mean, he's never on the injured list, hardly ever. Rarely uses the DH spot. The guy wants to post every single day, which I think is great when you're young. I don't know if that's intelligent anymore at his age, because you want him at his best late in the year. That's why Joe Musgrove missing the first month of the season potentially, or whatever it may be. I don't care as much, because you pay these guys to be available at the end of the season when it starts to matter a little bit more. And Machado's turning 34, and he's had 11 plus years of elite level wear and tear, because the guy plays all the time. And I know he views it as, I don't want if I don't play, it's a sign of weakness and all that other stuff. I get that. But I do think he probably has to DH probably a little bit more, try to get off his legs a little bit more. He doesn't like the load management stuff, which I don't either as a sports fan, but he's playing a sport that plays every single day and plays 162 of these things. He kind of needs probably a little bit more rest. And if you want to just know based on a numbers perspective, he hit 325 with a 904 OPS through June 10th on the season. And then in the final 45 games of the year, he hit 206 with a 613 OPS. You can't have Manny at the end of the season hit 206. You're not getting your money's worth. And he's not helping the team at that point. So I applaud. I agree with Clay in the South Bay on the YouTube chat. I applaud Manny wanting to play every day. I love it. In this day and age of sports, he's old school in a sense that I'm playing, man. I get paid to play. I'm playing my game. And I think the Padres are, I mean, if you compare him with Bryce Harper, which will always be the case, they've been compared to for a long time because they grew up playing against each other and playing on the same Team USA teams and all that fun stuff, right? And they both signed the big contract. They came up at the same time. They signed the big contracts at the same time. I'd honestly say you're getting more bang for your buck at Manny Machado than you are at Bryce Harper. But Manny Machado plays. Bryce is hurt all the time. So I understand that. But the question with this conversation of the Padres being like, we got to rest him more, and Manny's like, I'll rest when I'm dead, is obviously a little bit of, this is going to be an interesting conversation that they're going to have. But it's the question of, should the Padres force Manny to rest, even if he doesn't want it? A little bit of me says they might have to a little bit. I think they got to do it a little bit. I don't necessarily know they got to do... I don't think they got to have them scheduled days off. I don't think they need to give him multiple days off in a row. I think it's going to be more. I think he just needs to DH a couple more times more this season than he did last year, whatever that may be. And you'll start easing him into it. But you have this guy under contract until he's like, what, 40 something, 43? The Padres got to try to get as much out of that as possible, because guess who's about to get a massive raise throughout the next couple of years? It's Manny Machado. So they're trying to protect their investment. They're trying to protect the rest of the team in terms of, like, we need this guy to be productive for the end of the season. And so I do think they're going to have to try to convince him to DH a little bit more than him playing third base every day, which is rough because the guy plays a really good third base. I believe it to be the best in Major League Baseball. I agree with Chris Ello. I don't know why the guy never wins a Gold Glove ever, but I think they have to start forcing the issue a little bit of, like, hey, man, last year your production just completely fell off, and we just don't want it to be because you're not getting enough rest, and we want you to play at your best. And I think that's going to be an awkward conversation to have. I don't know how that conversation is going to go, but I think eventually, as he's turning 34 in the next couple of years, they need to have that conversation a little bit more and a little bit more, and almost protect Manny from himself with him playing every day. Again, very admirable. And I love the fact that the guy wants to play every day, but what would you rather have? Manny playing every day and hitting 206 in the final 40 games of the year, or him kind of DHing every once in a while, maybe getting a couple of days off in the last 45 games of the season, he hits 286? I'd take the latter. I really would. Should the Padres force Manny Machado to rest even if he doesn't want it? I say maybe, a little bit. What do you think? I think it's going to be a tough conversation for them.
I was looking through his numbers right now. Remember that game where he hit 2 3-run home runs?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only hits he's got in spring training. That just stood out to me. Also, it's going to hurt me to say what I'm about to say, seeing as though he was born 5 months before I was. He's no spring chicken anymore. He's 33. He's going to have to rest. And I think one thing that the Padres have right now that they haven't had over the course of Manny's time here, partly because they haven't needed it, is they have a suitable backup at third base now. They have multiple guys who can play third base.
Yeah, they're not rolling out Rougned Odor to try to fill in for an injured Manny.
They have Ty France. They have Miguel Andujar, again, who started his career playing third, has still played more third base in Major League Baseball than he has left field. They have Sung-Moon Sung when he's ready to go. So they have guys who can replace him and still play third base at a high level when he needs an off day. He is going to need off days more often than he has. I don't think the fact that he has been in Major League Baseball for 14 years and has never once had a stint in the IL, on the IL.
Well, he's been on the IL a couple times.
I thought that was his big thing with the ankle injury, was not wanting to break that streak of him being on the IL.
I thought he was. Well, I mean, he wasn't on the IL. He missed 15 days, or 10 days, whatever it was.
It wasn't an IL
he ended up missing the IL, but he was still out of commission for the same amount of time.
The point is, no one is going to criticize him for not playing games.
No.
That has come and long gone. He's never going to be criticized for missing games and not wanting to play. So, yeah, they are going to need to try to save him. And just like Joe Musgrove this year, they're trying to save him for when it's most important. And as great a start as Manny had last year, one of the best starts to the season of his career, he's got to kind of save some of that for September and October, because this year, with what we'll be discussing tomorrow, with how good some of these other teams in these other divisions are, they're going to be taking wild card spots away. You need him then more than any other point in the season. So you're going to need your top guys to be at their best when it matters most. And while April is important, you want to get out to a good start. You don't want to put yourself in a hole. you need them for September because that's when it's most important.
Yeah. And you got to like kind of protect your investment a little bit in terms of you can't have him at the end of his career just not be playing because because his body is breaking down and is not keeping up with his attitude and desire to be great, which is awesome. Because you can't teach that. I don't really think you could teach people to be great or to like have this mentality. This is like the crazy mentality that this is why these guys are at this level, is for the mentality that Manny has where he's just, I'm playing every day. But you have him under contract, including this year, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more seasons until he's 40 years old. And next year, guess how much money he's making? $39 million next year for the foreseeable future. So after this year, where he's making $25 million towards the luxury tax, he's going to start his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years where he's making $39 million a year. And so what you can't have is you can't be paying for him to not be playing at somewhat of a level. Now, you made that deal with him and the extension on his contract knowing that, these kind of early years are when we're going to win. That's the idea for him to be able to win. You're paying him less during his prime and backloading it at the end to pay him for what he was. But the reality is, based on the finances in the future, it'd be great for that player to potentially play a little bit more. And I think eventually he's going to be a DH or maybe a first baseman. I mean, there's not a lot of 38, 39, 40-year-old third basemen in Major League Baseball. There just aren't. And I think if you're thinking long-term for Manny to make it through his entire career, he has to start having some DH days. And he might have to start taking a couple of days off. And instead of playing however many games he played last year, instead of playing the 150-something games, he plays maybe 135.
And also now is also a pretty good time to start looking for that third baseman of the future who's not ready yet, whether it's through trade or whether it's through the draft. Look for that third baseman of the future now, because if you start when Manny is not going to be playing every single day at third base, you're way behind the 8 ball and you're going to have a hole at third base for years.
Well, they're drafting shortstops. That fills the rest of the infield.
No, I understand that. But you're looking for that guy. You should start that process of looking for Manny's replacement now instead of when he needs it, because by the time he needs it, you're going to be too late.
I think they've already gotten those guys. I really do.
Which is good.
Because who did they sign? The guy that they got from the A's, is he an infielder? The other Leo, Leo DeVries light, if you will. I mean, the guy that they got from the A's or the Brewers. Sorry, they got him for the.
Yeah, that was Perdomo, was it not?
They got the whatever their top farm system.
No, I know. I think his name was Perdomo, was it not?
It's possible. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I just know he's like a stud. That would be. Where is he? Quintana.
Oh, yeah, Jorge Quintana. Yes.
Did they get him from again?
Milwaukee.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they got him in the Nestor Cortez deal.
Yes.
Yeah, he's 18 years old. He's a shortstop.
He's an A ball. So, yeah,
there's your guy.
He could potentially be that.
He's going to be up there. I mean, because you're going to need a replacement for Bogarts, too.
Yeah.
Right? But he just needs a little bit extra days off. I don't think he's going to massively fall off a cliff either.
Oh, no. I'm just saying you have to be prepared for said inevitability. That's all.
Right. All right, let's get to today's sports thread. There's other stuff going on in Major League Baseball.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
Rafa R619 coming in hot in the chat, or you could just pay a free agent.
Guy didn't watch our NFL update, did he?
I don't think we've played that one yet.
No. Number 1.
The NCAA men's basketball tournament is seeing its strongest start since full broadcast coverage began in 2011, averaging 9.8 million viewers across the first 3 days. That marks a 5% increase from last year, with Thursday's opening round games alone also averaging 9.8 million viewers across CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV, getting unironic ratings. The primetime window drew 12.5 million viewers, making it the most watched first-round window ever, highlighted by games like VCU's win over North Carolina. Even the first four delivered strong numbers, including a record-setting audience for a Dayton-hosted game. The early ratings surge signals strong national interest and momentum for this year's tournament. Braden, what do you think is driving the increase in March Madness viewership this year?
Gambling. 100% it's gambling. You laugh, but it's true. It's gambling. It's literally like everybody on their phone can gamble at like any whatever. Your access to a sports book is so easy, and this is like one of the most bet on events in well, it's kind of professional sports now, but in American sports, everybody's doing a bracket. They're probably even adding other things. They're doing the Kalshi, the predictive markets. It's gambling. The rise in sports ratings for sports in the United States is gambling. That's why all these sports entities are making deals with gambling outlets. It's gambling. It's not crazy to figure out. It's not like, oh, I really like this basketball game I've never seen before. It's gambling. It's sad, but it's true. It's gambling.
It's just how quick you answered the question that made me laugh.
Number 2.
Do you want the NFL or do you want college football here? We only got time for one.
Let's go college football. That's fine. I don't need to talk about Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Owen Henneke has filed a lawsuit against the NCAA seeking an additional year of eligibility, which he was unfairly denied a chance to play college football at Ohio State in 2021 due to circumstances like COVID disruptions and injury recovery. The NCAA denied his waiver, citing his participation in 3 lacrosse games that year, which counted against his eligibility. Now preparing for the NFL draft, Henneke is pursuing an emergency injunction before April 23rd in hopes of returning to the Oklahoma Sooners program after a breakout 2025 season. His case is part of a growing trend of players challenging NCAA eligibility rules in court amid the evolving landscape of college athletics. Should courts play a larger role in deciding college athlete eligibility, or should the NCAA maintain full control over those decisions?
They should remain full control of the eligibility of their athletes. I mean, I don't know why courts are just enforcing like rules and regulations, and these lawyers and everything understand that they don't have antitrust law exemption, and so none of these rules hold up in the court of law. That's why courts are determining this, but they have to get to a point where the NCAA can put in rules, or whoever the governing body is going to be, and then they can enforce said rules, and there's nothing courts can do about it. The only reason why courts get involved is because they know that the NCAA can't actually enforce any of their rules, because none of their rules are constitutional, whatever, if you want to say. They're not legal when it comes to the general synopsis of being employed by an entity, which is what a lot of these people think they are. He's trying to get another year of eligibility because he burned 3 years of it playing lacrosse.
No, he played 3 lacrosse games in 2021. So he's claiming that the NCAA denied his waiver for that.
Oh. Don't play 3 lacrosse games then. I don't. Crazy. All right, let's get to new lunchtime hour here in a second. What did Jeff Passan think about the Padres this season? We'll talk about it.
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the gas lamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
Your Lunchtime Hour on the Fan is brought to you by the Craft Taco. Bold flavors, 2 locations, Serrano Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. Live and locally each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We got a lot to get to still on the show today. We do want to get to the midday sports standoff later on in this hour. We will have an opportunity to get you qualified for a chance to win our grand prize, a 2-night stay at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, and $150 resort credit. March is here, and Fontainebleau, Las Vegas is the place to catch every game. High-energy watch parties with expansive screens, great food and drinks, exclusive room rates, plus the pools and day club are open. Book your stay today at FontainebleauLasVegas.com. Now, that's going to be coming up at 12:35, so call in for that, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Tomorrow will be more of a day where we predict the MLB season. Tomorrow will be our 2026 MLB predictions. Frank and I will predict the what's going on in the league in terms of who's going to win divisions, who's going to lose divisions, who's going to have an MVP, who's making the playoffs, all that stuff. Tomorrow will be our season preview show, if you will. And then on Thursday, we will be live at Baja Rick's in downtown. We'll be downtown at Baja Rick's. If you haven't been there before, right next to the Omni at the trolley stop, next to the Hard Rock Hotel, at the end of the gas lamp, right by the gas lamp sign. We will be there on opening day. It's not too far from an entrance to Petco Park, so we highly recommend getting down to the ballpark early. As Rod in San Diego called in to say, Rod, member of the YouTube chat fam, don't be a rookie on opening day. If you're going to opening day and you have tickets to opening day, you got to make it your day and not try to cram some extra work in, not try to cram some extra tasks in. You know, it's like, oh, well, the game's at 1:10. I'll get there at 12:10. No. You don't get down there before noon. It's not going to be as enjoyable as the people that got down there early. And if you get down there early, you can come hang out with us at Baja Rick's. We look forward to meeting you and seeing you down there on Thursday. On Saturday, for the final game of this 3-game series between the Padres and the Tigers, we will be at Far Corner. It's a pizza place over there in the East Village area. It's at the East Village Block Party. We will have shows live on Saturday from 10 in the morning to 4 p.m., Ben and Woods will get things started with a 2-hour show, 10 to noon. I will be on with Frank from noon to 2. And then Gwen and Chris will be on from 2 to 4, which I think will be Matt Scraby in the afternoon. And then that'll lead into Sam Levitt's Padres pregame show, which will lead into Padres and Tigers game 3 of the series. Hopefully it's the Padres looking for a sweep on Saturday. How about that? That sounds good to me. Be very difficult. It's going to be an interesting pitching matchup this weekend as well, though, Frank. We got Tarek Skubal and Nick Pivetta on Thursday. We got Michael King and Framber Valdez on Friday. And then on Saturday, we have Jack Flaherty and Randy Vasquez. How about that? How about the fact that I just did that from memory after listening to you just say it once? Hey, we're locked in. We're ready for Padres baseball. All right. Let's talk about a little bit of a preview of the San Diego Padres and the National League West. We're going to get to what CBS Sports put together in a second about playoff teams that are not going to make the playoffs this year. And before we dive into what Jeff Passan said, not only about the Padres, but about the rest of the National League West, I want to say, and I got to say this about this particular subject. Not a lot of predictive markets and predictive websites think the Padres are going to have a good year. In fact, I'm pretty sure Fangraphs has the Padres going 80-82. I understand the concern about the starting rotation and the boomer bust options in the starting rotation. But I sit there and I go and I look at some of the other teams in Major League Baseball, and usually I'm just focused on the Padres. You don't want to spend too much time focusing on other teams because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But like Fangraphs doesn't like the Padres starting rotation. That's why it's knocked it down a little bit. I mean, below 500 is definitely down a lot from last year. They expect the Padres to win 10 less games than they did last year. But they use their starting rotation is not going to be able to hold up for the entire year. And then they give the Braves like 90 wins. I know they got Chris Sale. They got old Chris Sale. And you go through their lineup on their rotations.
Spencer Strider starting on the IL again this year.
That rotation doesn't scare them? Like, really? I think maybe a lot of people are underestimating Ruben Niebla and what he could do with the rotation. I think the Padres rotation is sneaky good. I really do. But this is the same situation that it was last year. And then all of a sudden people are like, well, the Padres won 90-something games. What is this? What happened? I think this is the most depth that the Padres have had going into a season. We talked about that during spring training. They don't have 38-year-old projects. They have 32-year-old chances rolling of the dice. Guys that still have some ability left trying to make a team. So the predictive markets don't like the Padres this year. A lot of other outlets are actually they do like the Padres, and they're shocked at some of these predictive numbers. But again, you got to take this for what it's worth. I mean, a lot of last year they thought the Orioles were going to do really good. I thought the Orioles were going to do very well as well, but they weren't. You know, every year Atlanta gets picked to win the East because of the talent they have. They're never able to make it through the year with injuries that happen. So I understand where they're coming from. I get that. It's a tough bet, but to go back to the sports thread of us talking about why does everybody watch March Madness is for gambling? I mean, a lot of these just for gambling purposes. It's what the odds are. So I wouldn't look too far into that. The rotation is going to be the biggest. The rotation's going to be the biggest question mark for sure. Nick Pivetta was named the opening day starter. He's coming off a career year. He's now viewed as the most reliable arm on the staff. I mean, this is a guy that hadn't had a sub 4 ERA too much in his career in both Philadelphia and in Boston. I mean, you're looking at a guy that they signed to be a number 4 starter last year. He started an opening day for you. Up until last year, Nick Pivetta never had a sub 4 ERA ever. He had a 2.87 ERA last year. He's got that chip on his shoulder still. He mentioned it in the interview with Gwynn and Chris that he wants to be better than the 5 guys that finished better than him in the Cy Young voting in the National League. He's like, there's 5 pitchers better than me. I got to be better than this year, which I think was admirable. But at the same time, I mean, that's just 5 people that got more votes than you. It's not like they were better than you. I agree with Chris Ello on that. I mean, you go through, look at Nick Pivetta's WAR that he has. His B WAR, negative 0.4 his rookie year, 1.8, negative 0.6, 0.3, 2.5, 2.5, 2.3, 1.7 last year, 5.3. Guy had a career year last year. It's going to be hard to replicate that at age 33, but I tell you what, he has to do it, Frank, because he's got an opt-out. This is his opportunity to get that big contract. Nick Pivetta starts everything off this season at the top of the rotation, but there's no place for him to get complacent, which I don't think he's going to be. But he's got the little extra juice and really a contract year for Nick Pivetta to get the money and that big contract he's been looking for.
No, absolutely. This is a big year. Now, granted, he does he can, I believe what kind of option is it for Pivetta? I don't remember if it's a team or a player.
No, he has the ability. He doesn't have an option. It's the ability to opt out, which is different than like the options, if you will. It's slight. It's semantics,
All
but
right, gotcha.
he can. Nick Pivetta's contract is a 2-year, $23 million deal in which he can opt out after 26 and 27.
Okay. So, yeah, I think he certainly has a lot of will. That's not the right word I was looking for, but he has a lot of reason to have a good year.
Motivation.
That's it. To have a good season. So yeah, I think starting it on opening day, the best way he can, I think, is absolutely what he's hoping for, whether he was in a contract here or not. It'll be interesting to see how long he pitches in that game. He's only pitched twice, I think, throughout the entirety of spring training. So that has also been very interesting, at least from my end. But yeah, somebody asked us on Twitter, I think it's CJ Greek asked us on Twitter, what did Fangraphs have the Padres' predicted win total at last year?
I looked at last year. It was like, I think they had us finishing in third behind they had the Diamondbacks beating them out by a game, I think.
Which, to be fair, we all thought was going to be the case.
We thought those were going to be that was going to be the series that you mattered the most, was the one against the Diamondbacks.
Until their injuries started to mount up and just never go away. Like, they had year-long injuries. So I do believe the Padres are going to have a lot better year than is projected. I don't know if it'll be a third straight 90-win season, but it will be darn close. I feel like 87, 88 wins is very possible with this team.
I'm trying to look at it, so I have to pull the date up on Fangraphs, and I can't because they put an ad over the box.
Lovely.
To grab the date because, yeah, that's where we're at with that deal. As of right now, the Padres Fangraphs has the Padres at 79.6 wins in 2026 for their projections. If I go to again, I can't change the date unless I just do it from manually on my day. What was opening day last year? The 20-something?
Opening day last year.
The 30th is probably safe.
I'll tell you in a second here. No, it was before the 30th.
I know, but it's just like kind of a safe prediction. That's like 5 games in.
Opening day last year was on the
27th?
Yes, the 27th.
Okay. Because it was a Thursday.
Yes.
All right, so by the time the I got to do the 26th on here because it's going to update with less games. So on the 26th, the Dodgers had already won 2 games against the Cubs, so it throws the projections off
games, yes.
a little bit. Just to answer the question, the Padres' projected win total last year, according to Fangraphs, was 81.5 games. So they were projected to go 82 and 80 last year on Fangraphs. How many games did they win last year, Frank?
90 on the nose.
90 on the nose. So they finished 8 games better than what Fangraphs projected. So this year, Fangraphs hasn't projected winning 80 games. I mean, if they win 8 games more, they'll have 88. They'll be right there for a playoff spot. Just to go through last year's total again, I mean, they had the Dodgers. Pull up here. This is what we'll do. Pull up last year's standings at the end of the season, and I'll tell you what Fangraphs projected these standings to be. I mean, this is just, again, they're just guessing, and this is before injuries and all that other stuff. So you can't say it's not like a terrible guess, but they had the Braves winning 94 games last season.
Bravos won 76.
They had a lot of injuries.
Yes.
Fair enough. But in the NL East, they had the Braves, Phillies, Mets, Nationals, Marlins in that order.
And they also had that ridiculous 0-for run to start the year. What did they start the year, like 0-8?
Yeah, when the Padres are like 7-0.
Yes. Phillies with 96 wins, Mets 83, Marlins 79, Braves 76, Nats 66.
Yeah, they had the Nats winning 72 games, which is way more than what they actually did. They had Go back to what they had. This is what they had. They had the Braves, Phillies, Mets, Nationals, Marlins fit in that order, finishing the standings.
Everything was in order except for the
Nats
Braves. The Braves went from first to fourth on that.
And then the
Phillies
Marlins out to the Nationals, right?
Yeah, Phillies. Oh, they had the Marlins finishing fifth?
Then the Marlins coming in last with 69 wins.
Then. Yeah, no, it was Phillies, Mets, Marlins, Braves, Nats.
Yeah, I mean, the Marlins ended up finishing in third place. They had the Marlins winning 69 games. How many games did the Marlins win last year?
79.
79. They won 10 more games than what they were projected to do. Again, it's very difficult. In the Central, they had the Cubs winning the division, but winning with 83 wins.
Brewers won it with 97.
They had the Brewers last year winning 81 games.
Oof.
They won 97.
Cubbies 92.
Which they had, so that's an increase of about 9.
Reds 83.
They had the Reds winning 78.
Cardinals 78.
Cardinals won 79 games. Or sorry, they had them projected winning 79 games. That's pretty close.
Pittsburgh 71.
They had the Pirates winning 78 games. Again, injuries, all that fun stuff. I feel like they value some guys like Paul Skeens way too high in terms of like the overall team. Like, well, they got Paul Skeens. They're going to win every game he pitches. Well, I don't know about that.
No.
The NL West, they had the Dodgers winning 98 games.
93.
They had the Diamondbacks winning 86.
80.
They had the Padres winning 82.
90.
I'm also rounding because they're obviously not going to win 80.7 games. They had the Giants winning 81.
81.
They won the offseason, or they won the trade deadline. They had the Rockies winning 63.
43.
That's historically bad. I don't think you can ever predict.
No, you cannot predict historically bad.
I mean, they're close with the White Sox. Look at the American League. They had the Yankees winning the division in the East.
94. Tied for first with 94.
They had the Yankees winning the East at 86 wins last year. They had the Red Sox winning 84 games.
89, third.
Or Orioles winning 83.
75 and fifth.
Blue Jays. They had the Blue Jays going 83 and 79.
94 division winners.
And they went to the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
At that point in time, they won the division, right? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
They won the tiebreaker over the Yankees.
Going into the season, according to Fangraphs, this is just for perspective before we talk about this tomorrow. The Fangraphs at the beginning of the year last year had the Blue Jays at a 15.6% chance of winning the division. They had the Yankees at a 31% chance of winning the division. To make the playoffs, the Blue Jays had a 43% chance to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They had a 2.8% chance of winning the World Series. I bet you those odds drastically increased once they got there.
Yes, we do know Tampa Bay still exists. They finished fourth at 77.
They had the Rays winning 82. They thought that division was going to be a little bit tighter. Real quick, because we got to get the break. They had the Twins winning the division last year at 84 wins.
70 and fourth.
Yeah, not great. That's 14 games off. Tigers winning 83 games.
87 in second.
So they got second place, right? Royals winning 82 games.
82 games in third.
Oh, wow. They're spot on with the Royals.
That.
They must be Royals fans or something. Guardians, 79 games.
88 winning the division.
Yeah, they had them finishing in fourth. They had a 12% chance to win that division. And then they had the White Sox winning 63.
60 in last. But again, remember, Cleveland had that magical run at the end of the season.
Right. That's the stuff you can't predict.
They won that division with a -6 run differential.
All right. Fangraphs 2025 projections for the AL West. They had the Mariners going 85 wins.
90 winning the division.
Astros 84 in second.
87 in second.
Rangers winning 84 in third.
81 in third.
A's winning 76 in fourth.
Bingo, bingo.
And the Angels winning 75 in last.
72 in last.
Pretty good for the AL West. The NL West kind of threw them off a little bit. Mightily.
Well, again, you could not predict the quality of injury and the length of injury that Arizona sustained last year.
Well, that's probably where the wins make up, right? So the Padres were 8 off the pace. They had the Rockies winning more games than they actually did. I bet you some of those were against the Padres on their projections. And then the Padres probably beat the Diamondbacks more times than they expected. So maybe
I
it's.
could tell you.
I don't know what games they had.
Padres went 8-5 against Arizona last year, and
that's pretty impressive for them against that team because they usually struggle.
They went 10-3 against Colorado last year.
It's about time.
Scoring 95 runs against them. They went 10-3 against the Giants too last year. Wow.
We got to take a break.
Yes, we do.
When we come back, we'll get you the preview from Jeff Passan on the National League West and what he thinks, whether or not we agree with it, as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Here's the biggest lie in the NFL right now. You can win free agency because you can't, and the data proves it. Over a 10-year span, more than half of the top free agents didn't even live up to their contracts, not exceed them, didn't even meet expectations, and nearly 30% were straight up disasters. But every March, we do the same thing. Fans celebrate, teams flex on social media, and everybody thinks they just fixed their franchise overnight. Meanwhile, the truth is the exact opposite. The biggest contracts are often the worst investments. Running backs, bust rate. Wide receivers, overpaid. Quarterbacks, total gamble. The teams that actually win in this league don't build through free agency. They survive it. They draft well, they develop talent, and then they use free agency like a tool, not a foundation. So when your team wins the offseason, history says they probably didn't. What just happened this weekend or this last couple of weeks? NFL free agency. Excitement, headlines, splash moves. Fans and teams convince themselves that they won the offseason, but history says that's usually not true.
Yeah, no. Studies of the top 500 top free agents from 2023 to 2022, their average grade for that is just a 2.26 out of 6, which is well below average. Only 41% of signings are actually, quote unquote, successful. 58% are disappointment or worse. Nearly 30% are major failures or disasters, and only 4.2% are Pro Bowl or superstar level. That is more than half the time these teams are regretting the deals that they're making.
And from 2013 to 2022, that's a large sample size of free agent contracts. And what happens to these NFL teams that sign these particular deals? And this is where teams get it wrong. Paying for hype and not value. Biggest names are not the safest bets. Top-tier free agents actually perform worse than mid-tier ones, and teams overestimate their ability to pick the right guy. Skill positions are a trap market. Worst success rate, 10% success rate for running backs, approximately 30% success rate for wide receivers, and quarterbacks are very volatile and risky. Meanwhile, safeties, O-line, D-line, much safer investments. Teams chase highlights instead of impact. And I could have told you that. Just as a football coach, where you have success is in the trenches and safeties and linebackers because they fill out special teams. That is where your value is for contracts. It's not paying wide receivers. It's not paying running backs. It's not spending money on positions that would make a upgrade to your fantasy team, Frank. You got to build within the trenches, and you got to keep everything young by going through the draft.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. You do need those players. You do need those pieces. You do need the big star wide receiver. You do need help in those areas, but not at the price that you are going to have to pay for them during a free agency window. And another thing here, age really matters more than teams admit. The best window is for a 24 to 27-year-old when they hit free agency. Productive drops when players hit their late 20s and into their early 30s, but teams still pay these guys not for what they're doing, but for what it says on the back of their card.
And here's why teams keep doing it. It's that hope. It's that human element, right? It's the hope over logic. It's the pressure to win the offseason. It's ownership wants headlines. They want the hype. They want people and their fans excited about the season. And general managers bet on being the exception. Every team thinks, yeah, but our guy is different. But the reality is hits exist. They are very rare. Like short-term quarterback swings, you're really getting lucky. Like the Sam Darnolds of the world, right? It's Daniel Jones. Look, this worked out for one season. But there are some strategic fix, but disasters pile up. Big money quarterbacks flop. Wide receiver deals age poorly. Injury risk kills contracts. I mean, I look at like the free agent signing of Russell Wilson multiple times going like, really? Or the trade for Russell Wilson too. It's like, this guy is not worth the amount of money that you're spending to make a big headline splash. And to be honest with you, really look like you're building a fantasy team instead of an actual football team.
Yeah. And this one came down while we were doing our show on Monday as we record this. Travis Kelce just signed a new 3-year deal, rounded up, worth about $55 million. He is not worth $55 million anymore. That is a huge overpay for the Kansas City Chiefs for a guy who they were talking all year about him possibly retiring at the end of the season. Now to get a 3-year, $55 million contract in free agency, that is insane for the Kansas City Chiefs to do that, even with a player they have a rapport with.
That's such a emotional signing for the Kansas City Chiefs from so many different aspects. 6 Tuesday before opening day. Opening day's on Thursday. Should have a good time out there at Baja Ricks. We're looking forward to it. Right now, they're doing the media tour of Petco Park for all the new upgrades. We have seen Sam Levitt tweet out a handful of things. A lot of it is the stuff that we mentioned last week on the air from the press release from the Padres about some of the deals that they are doing. So Sam's out there covering this right now. He had the picture of the 2 tower video boards that they have put in. That's going to be for pitching metrics. We talked about that last week,
which is really good, because that's a big blank space to have up there for as long as it did. I'm surprised they didn't sell those to like STCCU or something.
I mean, they used to put ads on there. I'm sure that board during in between innings are going to have massive advertising.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm surprised that they didn't have like an advertising board up there already for something, because that's, like I said, that's a big open space up there. But anyway, moving on.
So they have that. I'm sure they're going to sample some of the new food today. I'm sure you're going to see some new pictures from Sammy Lev on the new food. So should be pretty cool. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. In the next segment, we are going to get to our midday sports standoff. We need a contestant. If you could take me down to some sports trivia, you will be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize. 2-night stay at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, and a $150 resort credit. March is here, and Fontainebleau, Las Vegas is the place to catch every game. High-energy watch parties with expansive screens, great food and drinks, exclusive room rates, plus the pools and day club are open. Book your stay today at FontainebleauLasVegas.com. Now, all right, let's talk about the National League West a little bit. We are going to do our previews tomorrow on tomorrow's show, but a lot of talent in this division and a lot of question marks in this division as well. Let's talk about the Padres. Nick Pivetta named the opening day starter. We talked about that a lot. Behind him, Michael King. A little bit of health and inconsistency questions after last season. Randy Vasquez, still an unproven player at this point in time, but I love the spring that he had. I think Randy Vasquez could potentially have a breakout year. All of these players, I think the ceilings are incredibly high, but I also think like there are some question marks, of course. So Randy Vasquez is one of those players. Walker Buehler, post Tommy John reinvention. Velocity is down, but he is now a 6-pitch pitch mix pitcher for the Padres, and he had a really good camp. Herman Marquez, also post-injury gamble. Joe Musgrove, X factor of when is he going to come back at what point in the year as he starts on the IL. And he's the true only frontline ceiling arm, if you will. Now, a little bit of the concern for the final couple of outings out of the starting pitching was they got rocked late, 12 home runs allowed in 4 games. But that being said, I mean, the ball was jumping off the bat in Arizona. So the rotation's a little bit shaky in a sense of what could potentially go wrong. But if you want to view things from a glass half full, you have to realize that this ceiling for this team, especially the rotation, is incredibly high. And what Ruben Niebla can do with these players is incredibly high. I mean, maybe it's just a coincidence, Frank, but we talked about Nick Pivetta in the last segment. Last year was the first year he had under a 4 ERA in his career.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he just hit his stride at age 32. Maybe a little bit is Ruben Niebla.
It was almost like I said that he was a steal for $1 million. Now we'll see what he's going to do as a $20 million pitcher.
I mean, most aces are getting like $30 million. If he happens to be your ace, it's still a steal. I mean, Chaminade is getting $20 million.
Yeah, which is absurd. But the point of that being, he had a fantastic year. Last year was a prove-it deal. Now he's more or less getting the money that he deserves, maybe a little bit less. And now we'll see if he can handle it. We can see if he can have another season the way he had last year. And like I said, the only thing that's giving me pause right now is the fact he only pitched in 2 spring training games. That's it. Pitched twice in a month.
Bullpen is the strength. Some people want to call it a sneaky strength. I don't think anybody is getting surprised by the Padres bullpen.
No,
Maybe
no.
the people that put the list together put the Brewers at number 1. Padres are the best bullpen in baseball. I mean, just flat out the best. Jason Adams, like the only question mark right now about going into the season. He's just started the season on the injured list, but even then, he's been great so far in his 2 outings in spring training. But it wasn't about him pitching. It was about him filling his position, and that's what it's going to be for him the next couple of days. They expect him to be back April 6th. It opens the door for Ron Marinaccio, which I think is on the team. I think Bradgley Rodriguez has a really good case to make this team. I think Adrian Morejon now becomes your setup guy. You already know Mason Miller is going to be your closer. I mean, the depth is better. It's even better than expected. I mean, this was expected to be your number 1 spot on the team, the number 1 area on the team, and they have elite ceilings. The bullpen does. I think some of it hinges on Adam's health, but Adam looks good so far in coming back, and we'll see what happens when he is back on the big league club and not on the injured list. Now, Fernando Tatis Jr. is he's kind of everything. His ability. He's coming off of a 6.1 WAR season. He was still unhappy about it. He believes he's underperforming his own standard. He's got that mental battle of overthinking and constant swing tinkering in 2025 that they got to focus in on and try to eliminate in 2026. And the 2026 focus for Fernando is stability, routine, and joy, and being excited like he was in the WBC. And I think the WBC really showed the best version of Fernando. And the organizational belief is he sets the energy and the ceiling for the entire team, which leads to Manny Machado. The durability versus decline debate. Now, I don't think the guy's going to decline at all. I think the Padres are a little bit on the cautious side of trying to get him more DH opportunities and play third, try to keep him off his legs a little bit. Don't want to see the overall production falter at the end of the season like it did last year. But even then, I mean, you've seen some guys like there's not a lot of everyday third basemen that play into their late 30s, but there are a couple that are in the Hall of Fame, and Manny's on that particular path. I mean, Adrian Beltre still put up really good numbers in his late 30s, both on the offensive side and defensive side of things. I mean, he played over 100 games at third base in his final year. So that was like when he was 39 years old. You're going to have Manny Machado until he's 40. He should be able to do it. I think they want to eliminate opportunity. I think they want to eliminate risk of him potentially having to miss a significant amount of time, or maybe not be as productive at the end of the season because he's played through more than he should have. Ty France, I think, is a value add for this team. He's making the opening day roster after a minor league deal. He had a strong spring. He hit 318 this spring. He's a Gold Glove first baseman from a year ago, and a roster opportunity that was created by Sung Moon Song's injury. And the biggest thing with this team is this Padres team basically made all their decisions have to be answered later in about a month, because the thing, it's worked out enough where they could just kind of roll with what they got and then really make the tough decisions later on. So from that being said, I think this team is a second place team in the division. I think this team could get you to the trade deadline. I think this team has a lot of risks involved, but I think this team's going to be a lot better than what Fangraphs predicts. What about the rest of the National League West? We'll talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sermon Sports Station 97 through the Fan. There's a major storyline developing in San Diego High School football, and it's not about wins and losses, but Mount Miguel High School is now looking for its second head coach in just a few months. Larry Villarreal stepped down before coaching a single game, and the situation goes deeper than that. Nearly 30 players have entered the transfer portal, and multiple coaches have left the program. That's not just a coaching change, that's kind of a full reset. In today's high school sports world, where the transfers are easier and exposure is higher, program stability matters more than ever. Meanwhile, other programs like Cathedral Catholic continue to reload and compete at a high level year after year. So here's the big question. Are we starting to see a divide between programs that can sustain success, and are those trying to rebuild from the ground up? Because what's happening in Mount Miguel could be a sign of a much bigger trend. It's been a week of major transitions, standout performances, and rising storylines across San Diego High School sports. At the top, another coaching shakeup. Mount Miguel High School is once again searching for a head coach after Larry Villarreal stepped down before even coaching a game. This is very interesting to me when it comes to this particular decision because, Frank, the reports are that, so Verlaine Batofi leaves and decides he's not going to coach anymore. Mount Miguel hires this particular gentleman to be their new head coach. And then the reports were members of Verlaine's staff were upset about it and forced him to step down. This is a crazy story in high school sports. Meanwhile, here's the other thing I got to ask. How does a public school get 30 transfers out? Seriously. I thought public schools just pull from their local neighborhoods. How does a public school out in East County get 30 football players to transfer out of the program when their head coach leaves? Is that not a massive red flag for Mount Miguel? I mean, they had Mount Miguel. They got a coach. Assume a ton of players show up. Coach leaves, and now 30 players are in the high school transfer portal. Does that raise any red flags to you?
No, all normal here, all quiet on the Western Front.
It's just a neighborhood school with a bunch of neighborhood kids. Right, exactly.
Yeah, and Villarreal was the JV coach that got promoted to varsity. So the coaches, again, if what you're saying is accurate, the coaches that are telling him that forced him to step down, those are people that he's known for a while, whether it be in consulting with the varsity program as well. So that's very, very interesting, this whole story, that now you had a new coach, you promoted your JV coach, and now you've lost him and half of your team. That's very, very interesting what's going on at Mount Miguel right now.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Doesn't pass the smell test.
No, it's something about this is fishy. And I saw this on social media that made it even more fishy about the conversation with that. I mean, the players are going to leave anyway because it's a brand new coach, right? I mean, that's just kind of, in this day and age of high school football, you're going to get this type of movement, especially for the high-profile coach that Mount Miguel had before they decided to make this move. But the interesting thing was the tweet that I saw about the whole situation of like the staff convincing the new coach, like, hey, you should probably step down before we even start the season. That doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
Something about that's a little fishy, Frank.
Yeah, that's just really odd that you have the coaching staff conspire against the new head coach who, it's not like it's some random dude, and just it's just so odd. It's such a weird story, and I don't like the smell of this one bit.
Here's the tweet that I was mentioning from one of the coaches that is on that staff. He put this out. To be transparent, this had nothing to do with Coach Larry. I asked him to step down, and I gave him all the reasons to do so. He respected my request for the greater good of the program, and here we are. It wasn't Coach Larry's fault. He stepped into a situation that the remaining staff and parents said they'll support, but things just didn't work out. Life happens. Coach Larry is not on Twitter, and so I'm clearing the air for him. That doesn't make any sense at all. That doesn't make any sense at all. And then when asked about it, from another coach, his response was, I'm not sure why you have more questions. I explained everything in the tweet, and no hard feelings. I know what you mean. Just for your curiosity, I'm nobody. I looked at the situation as a whole and seen what was going on, and it wasn't fair to Larry or the program. I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand what's going on at Mount Miguel, but the fact that a coach that was on the former staff has now convinced the guy that got hired to be the new head coach to step down for the betterment of the program, this is a mess.
For the betterment, the benefit of a betterment of a program that he's been in, like he knows what it takes to be a coach at Mount Miguel because he's done it. Now, granted, not at the varsity level, he's the JV coach, but there is some insider nonsense here that's happening that you can smell from a mile away. This is not going away anytime soon, unfortunately, for Mount Miguel.
It doesn't explain. To the midday sports standoff in just a little bit. We are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking. It's better. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. Live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We got to get to some other things before we get to the midday sports standoff. But I want to mention that we are going to be live at Baja Rick's on Thursday. We are so excited for opening day. We're excited to see you guys come join us at Baja Rick's before opening day. And we are going to have such a great time down there on Thursday that we're going to do it again on Saturday. Saturday, a little bit of some specialty shows, a couple 2-hour shows for you. Ben and Woods will lead things off at 10 in the morning at Far Corner on Saturday. We will take over at 12 at Far Corner for the East Village block party. And then the Gwynn and Chris show will take over for us at 2 o'clock, leading to 4 o'clock. And then the Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt. Sam's already diving in to all of the new amenities at Petco Park. He's posting about all of them as we speak right now. And he's diving into some of the new food items out there. And if you haven't seen any of them yet, go to our Twitter page at 97.3 The Fan SD, and you will be able to see it because we're retweeting everything that Sam Levitt is posting right now. Do want to get to the rest of the National League West before we get to the midday sports standoff. So we talked about the Padres and a lot of question marks that are involved. But everybody else has some question marks too. The only one that really doesn't going in any season is the Dodgers, but I don't want to spend too much time there. They are the team to beat in the division. They've been the team to beat in the division. Everything revolves around Shohei Ohtani up there. Pitching workload versus hitting dominance will be their X factor. Roki Sasaki hasn't really been doing that great for the Dodgers as of late. I mean, he might be going to the minor leagues to learn how to throw strikes again on the latest report there. They added Kyle Tucker, MVP level potential, best roster in baseball, highest ceiling, deepest margin for error. We'll see what the Dodgers do, but I would imagine they're probably going to be good all year long. Arizona, the Diamondbacks, good team, not an elite team. Ceiling depends on Corbin Carroll returning to superstar form. He's starting the year off on the injured list, if I'm not mistaken, right, Frank? Was he hurt? That's why he didn't play in the WBC. Corbin Carroll.
I believe so. Yes, he had the same. He had that thumb surgery.
Correct.
That everyone had.
That everybody was getting at the beginning of spring training. Yeah, so he's going to be out for a little bit. You might get a sneaky breakout performance out of Geraldo Perdomo. He looked pretty good in the WBC, but they don't really have a true superstar jump, and they need one to really matter this year. Plus, I don't think the rotation's very good or their bullpen, Frank. The rotation's beat up. Like, I don't know how they're going to make it through the year. They got a lot of guys already hurt, and that seems to be a recurring theme for the Diamondbacks. I don't think they're going to be bad. I think they're going to be a pain in the Padres behind. But that being said, I don't think their bullpen's not very good. Their starting rotation is good at the top, but it really falls off because of injuries. You go to the San Francisco Giants, they're betting big on Rafael Devers, which got him the trophy for winning the trade deadline last year. They really need Rafael Devers to have a big year and kind of carry that team. Very good roster, but unclear greatness. And they have a, expensive middle team right now. They have a really expensive roster that's kind of a slightly above average ball club, unless Rafael Devers goes back to being that elite level that he was in Boston before he was worried about what position he was playing and he got traded.
Yes, and going back to Arizona real quick. I mean, three of their biggest guns, really, in Corbin Burns, Justin Martinez, who's their big fireball reliever, and AJ Puck are all on the 60-day IL. So those are huge injuries for Arizona. And yeah, San Francisco's in a big year as well. I mean, you're going to get a full season of Drew Gilbert now, see what he can give you. Rafael Devers is going to get a full season in San Francisco, see if he can turn back into the Hall of Fame trajectory that he was on. A new look infield for them, a expensive infield for them as well. So, I mean, San Francisco could, I don't see the division changing all that much. I mean, you might see the Padres and Giants flip depending upon who gets more injuries and when. But I don't see the division changing much from how it was last year.
I don't think so either. Corbin Carroll is played in a handful of spring training games this year. He's actually playing today, so he'll probably be ready to go. But he's had a late start. His first spring training game was March 11th.
Yeah, which makes sense because Francisco Lindor is also in the same exact boat. I think they had the same surgery on the same day. So.
Right. He's probably still not super healthy though, going into the year, but he's a little beat up. He's hit 118 in spring as he gets ramped up, and maybe he's an IL stint to start the year to try to get him back up to speed. But that's a significant injury at the beginning part of the season. It throws you behind, obviously. So that's the Diamondbacks and the Giants. The Rockies are, I mean, they're the Rockies. I don't even know what else to say about the Rockies. Long rebuild.
They exist.
Chase Dolander is like the guy they want to build around. Maybe Hope. Like Chase Dolander is like the guy, yeah. But like when your Hope in Colorado is a pitcher, I mean, the best he could do is what? Like have an under 4 ERA at Coors Field. I mean, they're trying to get development up there in Colorado, and I don't really know what I don't know what they're on pace for. I mean, they're here to hang out with Dinger and be on the rooftop and have some Coors Lights and just kind of like be here for a good time and a long time. I mean, they're just kind of there. The Padres have to like just rack up wins against Colorado if they want to make the playoffs. And the series against the Giants and the Diamondbacks are going to be the most important, like they always are. And they can't over emotionally get involved with the Dodgers series because those, in my opinion, those series don't mean as much in terms of making the playoffs as much as the Diamondbacks and Giants series do. And racking up wins against Colorado. That's where you're going to make the playoffs.
I just learned two things about Jose Quintana: is that he was a Met for 2 years and that he's a Colorado Rocky right now.
And he's going to hold the Padres to 1 run when he pitches against them at Coors Field. That just seems like that's going to be on the horizon. It always seems like that's the case. All right, let's get to today's midday sports standoff. We have a contestant.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, he's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, who we got playing today?
We have Kevin in Escondido playing today. Kevin, how you doing today, bud?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good. So keeping with our opening day lineup theme as we have over the last couple of weeks, 2014 August of 2014, AJ Preller was hired as the general manager for the San Diego Padres. His first opening day would have been 2015. What was the lineup on opening day, April 6th, 2015, AJ Preller's first opening day as the general manager for the Padres? Kevin, you have the first guess.
Oh, wow. A long time ago. Let's see. I'm gonna have to. Do I have a lifeline?
No.
Okay.
Need an answer, man. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm gonna have to. I'm blanking right now.
Okay, so we'll take that as a first X. Braden?
Let's go with the starting pitcher that day, number 33, James Shields.
James Shields is correct. Kevin?
Was Yonder Alonso on that team?
Yonder Alonso was on that team. He was batting seventh at first base.
That was the years that they brought in all these people. Let's go with third baseman Will Middlebrooks.
Will Middlebrooks at third base batting fifth. Kevin?
Dan Tabor, gotta go Will Myers.
Will Myers in center field. Braden?
All right. Let's go with Matt Kemp, who is in right field.
And batting third. Kevin?
Yeah, with Kemp, they had Upton. I think Upton.
Upton batting fourth in left. Braden?
Derek Norris was the catcher.
And batting second. Kevin? We got two left here. We got second and short left here.
Second and short. Okay. Was Jed Jerko on the team?
He was your second baseman. Kevin, you got to hope Braden misses this one here.
Okay.
This was the before the trades. This was like the big offseason signing at the beginning part of the year.
Doesn't sound like he's going to miss this one, Kevin.
Former Colorado Rocky, Padre legend Clint Barmes.
Yeah, he's not going to miss this
starting
one.
shortstop for the Padres in opening day.
I am sorry, Kevin. That is 5-4. Braden is right. So the opening day lineup for a 6-3 loss at Dodger Stadium was Will Myers in center, Derek Norris behind the plate, Matt Kemp in right, Justin Upton in left, Will Middlebrooks at third, Jed Jerko at second, Yonder Alonso at first, Clint Barmes at short, and James Shields pitching. That was the opening day lineup for AJ Preller's first opening day as Padres general manager.
I mean, I can't believe how quick of a memory our contestant got after not even being able to answer.
Well, I mean,
the first answer.
I mean,
in like 45 seconds to almost a minute, just like, man, I got nothing. And then it was like, Jed Jerko, listen, ripping it off.
Listen, if you hear one name, sometimes it's all that sparks it. Because that would have sparked it for me. Is that was the year you said that was the year they signed all those guys. That would trigger it.
I'm just saying, dude.
Oh, I understand.
It doesn't look great when you can't answer the first one and you're just sitting there and they're like, and it sounds like you're stalling to potentially get the answers. And then after that, didn't miss a single one. Guy was on it at that point. Yeah, like Upton, right? Upton? Which one? Yeah, they had an Upton, right? Yeah, they did. They had Justin Upton. I'm just saying. Hey, you know what? I'm just saying. Doesn't sound great on the stalling. Come on, Frank. The stalling.
I plead the fifth.
It's all right, dog. Gotta be better than that. Can't even use Google to beat me. Snap. Paper snap. All right, when we come back, we'll dive into some other stuff that we haven't gotten to yet when it comes to the San Diego Padres NCAA tournament, San Diego FC, WBC, lots more. The YouTube chat is so funny today. Augie's always hitting from the top rope, man. On the YouTube chat, always from the top rope. Augie better show up to opening day at Baja Rick's on Thursday. We're calling him out right now. He's got to come out. He said this, not to imply that people cheat on these games, but you have to make it a little bit more believable, big dog. It's so funny. You plead the fifth still?
Yeah, I'm pleading the fifth. I don't accuse anyone of anything.
Augie goes, I was picturing him talking on the phone and typing into Google on his phone and looking for the right website while stalling. Oh my God. Yeah, Augie don't miss, man. He
should I give a
takes
study
no prisoners.
Should I give a study sheet or a hint for tomorrow?
I guess. The best part about this though was like the best part about the whole deal was the Trav Gundy in the YouTube chat says lifeline to knowing everything. And then he has the emoji of the guy covering his eyes. Oh man, sometimes you could tell. Sometimes you could definitely tell. I mean, who is it? The kid yesterday, he dropped the Baxter, whatever his name was.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that guy is. The only reason why you know who he is because he saved a no-hitter for the Mets.
Saved Johan Santana's no-hitter, the first no-hitter in Met history.
Crazy.
We'll give you guys a hint for tomorrow. So this way you guys can look it up now, study up, and be ready to go for the final opening day lineup gimmick of the year.
I would they already know it's going to be some type of opening day lineup. I don't know how much more of a hint you could potentially give.
Manny and Fernando.
Well, you just gave 2 of the 9 answers?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, at this point, whoever calls in tomorrow better win because it's probably going to be a lineup that's probably close to the lineup they have now because a lot of these guys are still on the team, which is great because when I was a kid, it was never like that. Anyway, all right. Sam is posting he is posting all of the new food items, and there's more than just the press release that was shown. The funny thing is, dude, is I got my buddies sending me text messages about, oh, they're going to have this there. They're going to have that there. Bro, do you guys listen to the show? We talked about this last week.
He draws the foul.
Foul on your friends for not being good friends and not listening.
How many times have we, by the way, we've given like pot pie way too much pub in the last like 2 weeks. I'm going to tell you right now, we talked about that last week. Got a text. Hey, wow, they're going to have pot pie at the ballpark. Does anybody listen? No. That are my friends? Absolutely not. Here's what happens too.
We showed the food items on the stream.
We did. We showed the food items on the stream. Now, Sam's posting a lot of extra stuff that we haven't shown yet on the stream. He's got the pot pies, which you could get at actual pot pie too. They got them at the ballpark now. This one we didn't see yet. Carnitas tater tots. That sounds pretty money. You can get that at the Carnitas Snack Shack in section 130. Sam goes, just FYI, these were incredible. If they weren't, would you, I mean, really? Of course they're, I mean, come on, dude. Like, everybody can hear you. I didn't see this one on their press release either. The Bratwurst Smashy.
The Bratwurst?
Bratwurst Smash Patty, buddy. Beer cheese sauce, peppers, onions, pickled mustard seed on a pretzel roll. Located at 394 by L. Smith. That sounds good. Why did you stop talking? Are you mesmerized by the Bratwurst Smashy?
I'm trying to. What are the? I don't even know what to say to this. Oh,
What?
it's mustard seeds. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mustard seeds. Got it. Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
I think it looks good.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad at all.
I mean, everything at the ballpark at Petco's great. He had the caprese sandwich with the stracciatelle and the San Marzano tomato and the basil pesto. He had the mortadella sandwich that he took a picture of as well. Oh, that's the caprese one. That looks pretty good. And the mortadella with the pistachios and that looks like arugula on there. That looks pretty good too. It is arugula. All right, cool. That looks pretty good too. They had the curry rice and the curry buns from Curry House. Get a curry bun. That looks pretty good too. I mean, everything here looks good. The shortstop sandwich, braised beef short rib, boursin aioli, au jus, served on a French roll with kettle chips. That's available at section 100 near the home plate gate. The new chili dog looks money. That's with a braised short rib chili, which is great. Cinnamon sugar pretzel bites, s'mores, braided pretzel, and a buffalo and blue cheese braided pretzel. Are you kidding me? Section 206 at the terrace level. Now, we were talking about this off air, and I think this is interesting. Here's my take on the food items at ballparks now. I always feel like everybody's trying to one-up each other, but at the same time, you know, we had this conversation of if you're going to a ballpark, there's some things like I'm not that interested in eating at a ballpark. If you're just going to like maybe 1 or 2 games a year, like when you go to a ballpark, like let's say you get to go to 1 game this year. We are blessed. We get to go to a lot of games to cover the Padres. Okay, Frank, let's say you could go to 1 game this year.
Mm-hmm.
Just any baseball game. When you go to a baseball game and you only get to go to 1 to get that full experience. Let's say you've been living overseas and you come back to the United States and you get to go to a ball game. What is the traditional food item and drink you're going to get at a ballpark?
I mean, a hot dog and soda. I mean, that's
then for
basic,
the people that drink beer, it's a hot dog and a beer.
Yeah, exactly. But that's basic. But I would try to look for a local spot that's in the ballpark, like a Hodad's or something like that. That's more what I would look for to get kind of like the full ballpark, the full local experience.
No, but that wasn't the question. You've been living in Italy for the last 2.5, 3 years. You miss going to a ballpark and going to a baseball game. What are you getting? The classic ballpark food.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's what you're going to get. So for people that go to like 1 game, 2 games a year, they're going to get the classic ballpark food. Now, this stuff is great for people that go to multiple games a year. Because like if I had season tickets, which I the people that go to all 81 games, I think should get like a trophy or something.
100%, yes.
I mean, they go downtown, they battle the traffic, all that. They go to 81 home games. And there are people that do that, and I love that. This is a diehard Padre fans. Great. Eventually, after like a week or 2, you probably are running out of things to eat. This gives them so many options. I mean, sometimes it's just so many options. You're like, you just get overwhelmed. But I will say this. We are so blessed to have the food that we have at Petco Park. And you don't really understand it until you live somewhere else. Like, they were first starting to bring some of these restaurants in, like in high school, when I was in high school, and to get the local flair and really go the gourmet route of cuisine at baseball games. Like, when I was a kid, they had, like, the 5 for $5 deal was like a big deal as a kid. It was awesome. You got like 5 things for $5. That was back when there was like 25 people at some of these games. But they started bringing in the gourmet food. You don't really fully appreciate that until you go to games in the middle of the country where they have nothing. I remember going to Ranger games in college. Like, they had the giant food stuff, right? They had the Beltray Buster, just like the burger that's bigger than your stomach, and the boomstick, which is a hot dog that's taller than somebody that's 6 feet tall. But like, they didn't have that. It was like, all right, well, here's a bunch of crazy stuff that you can eat. They didn't have, and then a bunch of traditional things. And then I went to Cincinnati for the Padres Reds game a couple years ago. It was like, hey, here's Skyline Chili. All right, that's about it. I also think, but as much as going to a ballpark, Frank, gives you that, a lot of these places doing the local flair. You know, it is kind of like, it's still ballpark local flair. It's not like you get a little bit of the taste of it. But I will say this. I just love to be able to try. I mean, this is enough food where I can try, if I go to 20 games this year, I can try something different every single time and never be bored with the menu. It's so great.
I agree. And Adam Paul just said in the chat, the Hodad's at the ballpark sucks. If you want Hodad's, just go to an actual location. Brother, I'm not going to a ballpark for restaurant quality food. I'm not spending $80 to buy my way into a restaurant that I can enter for free somewhere else. I understand it's not going to be the same quality as like the actual place.
It's
And
still
I'm okay
really
with
good
that.
though. It's still really good. They do
and
a
I'm
pretty. They
fine
do a
with that.
really good job of doing it at Petco Park. I mean, they did a great job of bringing in local flair, and then these places get to like try stuff out. There's a lot of menu items at the ballpark that are designed by these restaurants that they don't sell at their actual restaurant. They design it basically just for Petco Park, like the carnitas tater tots. Although I haven't been a carnitas snack shack, I don't know if they have those there, but that's definitely something. And they usually try to work with the Padres on making different things. Like, you know what they don't have? Like they used to have at the Ballast Point. It was like the birria egg rolls. They don't sell those at Ballast Point. And if they did, it was probably for a limited time. So it's pretty great. I like all the different cuisines, but if you go to a lot of games, it's nice to get a little bit of a mix up in it. You know what? I'm starting to enjoy more than just the hot dog and the beer. I mean, this San Diego's made it like that. And you start going to some of these other places for food, it's rough, dude. I mean, even the hot dogs at Petco Park are better. They're like all beef hot dogs and stuff. It's awesome. You go to like Cincinnati, it's like, oh, here's hot dogs or like nachos you can get at a high school snack bar. Do you have any craft beer? We have Busch Light. Oh, okay. Thanks. I remember going to Rangers games in college. They had like Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, Budweiser on draft. And that was it. You had to find the concession that had it. And then they had their craft beer. Do you know what their craft beer was that was charged, that you had to pay more for?
What was it?
Shock Top. It was Shock Top. That was the craft beer that they had.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody can outdo Petco Park with their food. I really don't. I mean, a lot of people try. I don't think they can. So Sam's still putting out some pictures of some of this stuff. Do you have those pictures? You want to put those up on the screen? The pot pies, they look like the other pot pies. Those are pretty good. That's easy to eat at a ballpark too. That's the other thing too. You can't have stuff that's hard to eat in a stadium seat.
Yeah, no kidding.
It makes it difficult. So we got the pot pie, what they're going to have in section 129. Little individual pot pie. Those are good, by the way. I've had those before. Just not at Petco, but I'm sure it's going to be like the same. There's the pot pies. They had a couple of different ones. They had like they have like a pork and cheese. Well, I forget what it's called. And then they have the traditional chicken pot pie. Next one on the list is the carnitas tots nachos. Those are pretty good. Sam said they're amazing. Might have to try those. And then you move on to the at $3.94 by AleSmith, the Bratwurst Smashy, Bratwurst Smash Patty, beer cheese sauce, peppers, onions, pickled mustard seed on a pretzel roll. That sounds pretty good. I'm gonna have to try that at some point this year. The Gelati and Piccati place, the new signature sandwiches from them. You have that is the mortadella with the stracciatelle cheese, the arugula, pistachio, extra virgin oil, olive oil, and on the focaccia. That looks like a heck of a sandwich. A little bit lighter, if you will. And then the caprese sandwich with the stracciatelle, San Marzano tomatoes, and the basil pesto. That actually looks pretty good too. Looks pretty money. Moving on to the next thing. You have the curry rice and the curry buns.
This is kind of what sparked this. The last thing,
like eating that at a ballpark, that looks awesome, though.
No, I'm just saying it looks good, but curry at a ballpark, that's like what? What are we doing?
You can have
here?
anything at a ballpark now. It's great. It's called variety. Come on, man, get yourself a curry bun. I didn't know they made curry buns. Is that how they present it too? You get the little bun box too, or where do you get this? It's section 104 in the Mercado area. I would imagine they're handing plates out. You know.
Yeah.
That looks good though. The curry rice. That looks like chicken katsu with that. So it's curry rice and curry buns from Curry House Coco Ichibana. That will be in the Mercado area in section 104. And then you have the shortstop sandwich available in section 100 near the home plate gate. Braised short rib, boursin aioli, au jus served on a French roll with kettle chips. Looks good. Chili cheese dog is new. House-made short rib chili, new school American cheese. What is new school American cheese? Is that just the brand?
Probably.
It's not capitalized. That's what threw me off. Onion and an all beef frank. That's a heck of a chili dog right there. Home plate gate. But this is the one I really like, is the next one on the list here. Section 206 on the terrace level is the pretzels. So you have what you're looking at right now on the YouTube page. And again, all of this is on Sammy Lev's Twitter account. Cinnamon sugar pretzel bites. I think that comes with like that icing sauce too in the bottom right corner.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably incredible. But then they also have the s'mores braided pretzel. You can take a look at that on there. S'mores braided pretzel is crazy.
That just looks disgustingly good.
There's a lot of things at these ballparks that look disgustingly good. That's
disgustingly huge too.
Yeah, Sam needed to post a picture of his forearm next to it to see how big this thing was. How big the s'mores pretzel was. The braided s'mores pretzel.
Banana for scale.
Foul.
What? Why was that a foul? It's an old meme. Like
foul.
That wasn't a
banana for scale. Are you kidding me?
That's an old meme. That's not
phrasing.
There was no phrasing behind that. It's an old meme.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Old meme. Yeah, pause is right, Nate.
Oh, God.
Buffalo and blue cheese braided pretzel. That looks great too. Section 206 in the terrace level. So that's all the new food. Again, a lot of that was some of the stuff that we showed you last week. A lot of it's brand new. Sam is posting on his social media platforms all of the food and all of the other new amenities at Petco Park. Got the new video boards on the towers, which is going to be cool. They're going to have a lot of pitching metrics up there as well. So that's just kind of a look at what's going on with the food at Petco Park. I'm excited to try a lot of those things on Thursday. I really am. I don't know if I could do that. I'm going to have to pace myself over the weekend.
Probably
for all
should.
These games. You have to. Otherwise, I'm going to be running laps downtown.
Nate Taylor, bring your life alert.
Come on, man. Eat and enjoy life, guys. Eat and enjoy life. When we come back, San Diego FC over the weekends, we'll talk about what happened in their match. We will also talk a little bit of March Madness and what happened and a little bit of a preview of the Sweet 16. Plus, why the WBC might be moving. We teased that yesterday. Didn't have time to get to it. We'll finish the show with that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan. The San Diego Gulls are starting to look like a completely different team, and it's happening fast. They just pulled off a wild 6-5 comeback win over the Colorado Eagles, scoring late, forcing overtime, and winning it in a shootout. And here's the big picture. This team is scoring a lot. 7 goals against Bakersfield, 5 against Calgary, 6 in that comeback win. This offense is exploding, and it's coming from everywhere. Gauthier is with a hat trick. Pastujov leading the way, and young guys like Leno stepping up. But what really stands out, they don't quit. Down late, doesn't matter. This team keeps coming. So now the question is, are the goals turning the corner at the perfect time, or is this just a hot streak? Because if this is real, this team could be dangerous down the stretch. This was a big statement win for the Gulls.
Yeah, absolutely. And a huge statement week for them. The Gulls starting to build off of something, and this week showed exactly why. We'll start with the headline moment: a wild 6-5 shootout comeback win over the Colorado Eagles. This game had everything: 6 goals in one period, a late 2-goal deficit, and a clutch finish. Down to late in the third, San Diego did not blink. Sasha Pastujov tied the game with just 33 seconds left, continuing his standout season as this team's top offensive producer. And then in the shootout, it was Nikita Nestorenko who had sealed that, marking back-to-back victories and more importantly, showing resilience that this team is going to need going into a playoff push.
Now, they didn't sweep the series. The Gulls dropped the second game 5-1, splitting the set 2-2 overall. But even in the loss, Pastujov stayed hot, adding another goal and continuing to climb the AHL leaderboards in shots. Now, the offense is starting to heat up. This might be the biggest takeaway from the week. The Gulls offense is exploding right now. 7 against Bakersfield, 5 goals against Calgary, 6 goals in that comeback win against Colorado. And that's not a fluke. That's starting to trend in the right direction if you are the Gulls. I mean, Gauthier recorded the team's first hat trick of the season. Sam Colangelo had a 3-point night. Matthew Phillips snapped a long drought and hit the 400-game milestone. And Tristan Leno continues to be one of the most productive defensemen on the roster. This is a team getting contributions from everywhere, and that's dangerous in the AHL.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fun to watch as well. And all of those goals don't really mean anything if you don't have somebody in the net backing them up. So it's not just the offense. Thomas Suchanek coming up clutch in that comeback win against Colorado. Kelly Klang posting a 37 save performance and keeping these games close. And maybe most importantly, this team has grit and they do not quit no matter what, by how much or when they are down. They've now built up a reputation in the AHL for late game pushes, especially with the extra attacker, and that chemistry on 6-on-5 situations is becoming a real weapon for this San Diego Gulls team.
Yeah, the shift early in the season, the Gulls are very inconsistent, and now they're becoming resilient, offensive-minded, opportunistic. They're also elite in a lot of key areas, like you mentioned, the penalty kill. Over 85% among the AHL's best. Shorthanded goals near the top of the league. That's a sign of a team that's not just talented, but buying into a system.
It's not just buying into a system either. It's getting that comfort of playing with each other for a long period of time. As we keep saying, the Ducks are good. So they're not just getting young guys that they've just recently drafted to learn on the job. They're keeping guys down at the AHL level here in San Diego, and that's building continuity. That's allowing these guys to form some sort of identity as they play together.
And now the focus turns to consistency. Can they avoid slow starts, which has been a big problem for them throughout the entire season? Can they tighten up defensively after big offensive nights? Turn these flashes into a sustained run. Also, keep an eye on the new addition of Herman Traff joining from Sweden. That's another young piece entering a system that's clearly starting to click. So the big question is, and we continue to ask this question, are the San Diego Gulls turning the corner at the right time, or is this just a hot stretch? I just feel like this is different. Good teams don't just win. They find multiple ways to win, and the Gulls just showed a comeback win, a dominant offensive performance, a gritty defensive effort in a loss. That's growth. And the only question now is sustainability. If they keep this up, this isn't just a development anymore. This is a team that could start making real noise and make some noise in the Calder Cup playoffs. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. We want to get into a couple other things here when it comes to sports in town. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and locally each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We haven't gotten to it yet just because it has been a kind of just so much to talk about on the show. But we talked a lot of Padres baseball today. They're doing the media tour of all the new amenities at Petco Park. And I don't know about you, Frank, but every year they do this, I just feel like they outdo them. They outdo themselves from the year before. I mean, every upgrade to the ballpark just makes that place the #1 ballpark in the United States.
Yeah, absolutely. Next year is going to be the next big 999 box, and off we go from there.
I'm glad the Padres are currently not participating in that.
It's gonna hit every ballpark.
It might be an MLB mandate to have everybody do it.
But again, is it really a 9x9x9 challenge? Because
I would say it's a 4.5 by 4.5.
I wouldn't even say that. It's like a 3-3-3 challenge. Because like what we said with the Mets is they're miniature hot dogs. They're miniature hot dogs and like a 4-ounce beer. What's the point of that?
Yeah, it's
you can knock the 4-ounce beer out in half a batter.
Well, it's 3 4-ounce beers, right? So that's 12 ounces. That's not even like the sizes like you get at the ball. Like they don't sell the 12-ounce cans. They hardly ever do. The only time they sell the 12-ounce cans are on like the $3 beer night, which they had in Cincinnati. When I went to the Cincinnati game, they had $3 beers, $2. What did they have? $2 cookies or something, and $1 hot dogs or something. It was like the 3-2-1 deal in Cincinnati, but it was like, oh, here's your $3 beer. It's a 12-ounce Busch Light. It's like, oh, sick, thanks.
And no, go Aztecs. It's not that the bathrooms can't handle the real challenge. It's that people's wallets can't handle the real challenge.
There's something about like encouraging people to drink 9 12-ounce beers is kind of probably a massive liability issue.
Yeah, that is a huge problem. Yes, I agree.
For a lot of these teams. So I honestly can't blame them on that particular portion of this.
You can give them a real size hot dog, though.
Maybe.
You can give a normal size hot dog.
9 hot dogs?
That's the point of doing the challenge.
I know.
How can I finish this?
I get that, but it's like a mini way to do it because if you actually charge, that thing would cost like $100.
I know.
People would still pay for it if it was $100.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. People would.
It would be a convenient way for them to do it. They should have just done it with the 9 hot dogs and then like, I don't know. You can't encourage people to drink 9 beers. It's just liability through the roof.
People are going to do it anyway.
That's not a good attitude to have.
No, I know it's not, but it's also reality.
That doesn't mean that's, that I'm sure that holds up in the court of law when they get sued for giving people too much alcohol. Well, they were going to do it anyway. What does that mean?
You just hit the ballpark security camera. Sir, is this you 5 years ago looking like Homer Simpson peeing against one of our upright stanchions?
Yeah. Do you think that works for somebody at like a bar? You overserved this man. Well, he was going to do it anyway. Was I really stopping him? You know what? You're right.
Case dismissed.
Move along. Yeah. All right. I didn't get to try the Skyline chili when I was in Cincinnati because they had it at the ballpark, but I felt like if I was going to try Skyline chili, I wanted to give it a fair shake. Not the ballpark version of Skyline chili. I just feel like the people at Skyline chili probably actually care a little bit more about the chili than maybe like the ballpark staff, but I could be wrong. In Cincinnati, there's something about like the $2 chili like I just didn't want to have. I tell you what, Skyline chili looks pretty good though. I mean, they give you like a mountain of cheese. Is it really chili or is it mostly cheese? I have to find that out the next time we go to Cincinnati. Next time I go to Cincinnati, whenever that may be. All right. Yeah, Texas A&M sheriff calls in San Diego after the 9 beer challenge. I want to see that. I got to see that at a Texas A&M baseball game just so I can see that account again. Let's go Aztecs in the YouTube chat. That'd be hilarious. All right, Frank, let's quickly talk about what San Diego FC did over the weekend.
Let's do that.
They looked fatigued at this point in time.
They look whooped for sure. Game started off a little bit slow for them. Went down a goal early. Looking at it, Sergey Solon scored in the 17th minute, and Vartson got it back in the 27th. They went into the half, tied at 1. Dreyer came out 55th minute, netted 1. But again, after that, they more or less just kind of sat back and let Real Salt Lake just pepper Faria with shots from everywhere. There were a couple that did get through him that fortunately Manu Dua parked himself on the line, whether it be by good positioning or just pure dumb luck. He kept most of them out. Real Salt Lake scoring the equalizer in the 85th minute. And then Christopher McVeigh with a red card in the 89th minute. I think that's their 4th red card in the last 3 games. So they're not only losing, they're drawing games they should win. They're getting outplayed, and now they're starting to foul. So this is a side of San Diego FC that we have not seen yet in the history of this franchise, is them playing from behind and trying to get control back, which is very, very odd to see out of this team.
It is, but I'm leaning more towards the fact that they have had to play how many games in like a 2-week span?
No, I mean
that is kind of
that is a major part of it for sure.
That's kind of where I'm at with this. I think it's hard to evaluate them in these last couple of weeks because of the fact that they're flying all over, not just the United States, they're flying all over North America and playing at high altitudes, and having to play in a couple of days after, and losing players with red cards and everything like that. So, it's their 2nd straight draw in the MLS. I think they put a lot of effort into advancing in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And I just think it's more of the fatigue, which leads to the mental lapses, which leads to the game management, right? I mean, the discipline has cost them multiple times so far this year, where you had Christopher McVeigh sent off in the 89th minute, his 2nd yellow. So they had another game where they had to play with a man down, and they're getting into a cycle now of blowing leads, losing composure. And we talked about the defensive line last week, and that's kind of what's let up in these last couple of games. But that's the immaturity and the youth of this team. I mean, the youth is in the defensive line, right? So that's where you're going to have a lot more mistakes, especially when they're playing twice a week for the last 3 or 4 weeks. Last month, they've been playing twice a week. They've been playing on Wednesdays and then on Saturdays or Sundays. And when you have young players doing that over and over and over again, the fatigue's going to set in, and that's where the mental mistakes are going to happen more than a lot of the physical mistakes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, again, it's such a good start to this MLS season, and also the surprise win in the CONCACAF Champions Cup that's now just kind of becoming a backstory. It's still very early in the MLS season. You're a month into the MLS season, so there's nothing really to worry about there. It's just interesting to see a style of play, and you're right. There's the wear factor is certainly a part of this, but it's very interesting to see this club do something that it has never done in its very brief history, and play in a way that it has never played in before.
Yeah, but I just think it's the situation that they have. They have a break now, though. They're not going to play until what? April 6th, April 9th,
4th,
April 4th
against San Jose.
Okay, so they have some time off now where they can kind of reset, and the big reset I think is going to help this team out a little bit more, and I think it'll be good for them. Now, if after the reset they continue to play like this, there's going to be a massive red flag and a problem that needs to be obviously addressed.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. WBC is changing potentially. We needed to get to this. We haven't talked about it yet. I like the idea that the WBC might be moving to the middle of the summer. I don't necessarily think it has to be moved, but MLB talked about why they want to move the World Baseball Classic to really get the most out of it. We'll explain next on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. The San Diego Toros baseball team might finally be showing some signs of life, but the big question is whether they can finish games. USD snapped a brutal 10-game losing streak with a big conference opening win over Gonzaga, scoring 6 runs early and riding a strong start from Diego Gutierrez. But after that, 2 straight games slipped away late. On Saturday, the Toreros led 5-2 before giving up a 9th-inning homer and losing 7-5. Then Sunday, they rallied to take the lead in the 7th, only to give up another 3-run homer in the 8th and fall 11-6. So here's the story right now. The Toreros are competitive. They're scoring early and getting big performances from guys like Andrew Gana and CJ Moran, but they're struggling to close games. If USD can figure out those late innings, this team could still be dangerous in the West Coast Conference. But if not, they risk becoming a team that's always close but never quite finishes the job. This was a weekend that was a roller coaster weekend for the San Diego baseball team over there in Linda Vista. The Toreros opened up West Coast Conference play playing against Gonzaga at Fowler Park. USD ended the series on a 10-game losing streak, albeit against a lot of good teams in college baseball. And they showed life on Friday. They won 7-6, but they were up 7-2 going into the last inning. And they gave up 4 runs at the top of the 9th inning. And with the jumping out to good starts, Frank, the bullpen's got to be able to find a way to throw up zeros. And this weekend, USD scored first in every single game, yet they only get 1 win out of it because every time they came back, they were giving up massive crooked numbers on the board.
Yeah, and this is also what we're talking about here. Andrew Gana led the way with 3 for 4 night, contributing to a hot stretch where he's hitting over 500 during his current streak. CJ Moran added a towering home run, and on the mound, Diego Gutierrez, as you mentioned before, 5 scoreless innings and 6 strikeouts. Unfortunately, they let it slip at the end, and that looked like it fell. It looked like it fell into the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, they let it slip in that game, but they still were able to win game 1, 7-6. But it was 4 runs for Gonzaga in the top half of the 9th inning. And then on Saturday night, they built a 5-2 lead, only to see Gonzaga come back late and steal a 7-5 victory, including a 3-run homer in the 9th. Hit by the same guy. Ryder Young had 2 3-run homers in back-to-back games in the 9th inning. One of them wasn't enough to win the game. The second one was. And then on Sunday, the Toreros nearly flipped the script. They scored first, and then Gonzaga went up 5-1. And then in the 7th inning, it was the Toreros that came back to take a 6-5 lead. But then in the 8th, they gave up another 4 spot. Gonzaga responded with a 3-run homer in the 8th inning out of their number 8 hitter in the order. And then they added 2 more runs in the top of the 9th to take an 11-6 win and then take the series. So this is important because Toreros baseball right now is competitive, but they're struggling to finish games, and they were picked to win the conference. Gonzaga was picked second, and now you have to be behind the 8 ball, and you don't win the head-to-head when it comes to the series because you lost to them 2 out of 3 at home, which has seeding implications for the West Coast Conference tournament.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately that just leads down your fighting from underneath again, as we've talked about so much with these San Diego universities. You're fighting from behind, trying to catch up. And right now it sounds like a bullpen that is playing with absolutely zero confidence in themselves and in their ability to execute right now. The starting pitching's been fine. Offense has been looking good. It's just that bullpen has not been helpful.
Let's get to softball, ending non-conference with some momentum for USD softball. The Toreros softball team wrapped up non-conference play against the Sacramento State Hornets. It was a mixed weekend. USD dropped both games on Saturday's doubleheader 5-1 and 3-1, struggling to generate offense with just 2 hits in each game. But Sunday brought a different story. The Toreros rallied in extra innings for a 3-2 win, scoring 2 clutch runs in the 8th. Kaylee O had a huge game, going 3 for 4. Shanice Hogue-Lacey and Haley Mulligan delivered the clutch RBI doubles in the 8th. Kelsey Tadlock shut the door on the mound to secure the win. USD finishes non-conference play 13-16 and now turns its focus to West Coast Conference play, beginning a road series against the Oregon State Beavers.
Yeah, solid way. And once again, as we talked about with the Aztecs, baseball team being able to not get swept and being able to claw out that final game of the series, huge win and a great way to gain momentum going into the series against Oregon State.
And just a recap for baseball, again, the reality is USD showing flashes of a very good team, scoring early, running aggressively on the base pass. Players like Gana and Moran are swinging hot bats, but the problem right now, late game execution. 2 straight games this weekend slipped away in the 8th and 9th innings, and that's the difference between a conference contender and a 500 team. And the big question moving forward is whether this group can turn competitive games into wins, because if they can start finding games late and finishing games late, this Toreros team could still make some noise in the West Coast Conference and hopefully punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. We got baseball back tomorrow. Baseball is back tomorrow. Opening night live on Netflix this Wednesday, March 25th. Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees clash with Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. MLB opening night, Yankees, Giants, live on Netflix, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I just saw a tweet about that too from Netflix. They are, I don't know, one of their shows or something like that is going to throw out the first pitch. The only thing I dislike about some of these things is just kind of like, do we have to make it all about their product?
Yeah.
Like,
How can we stop catering to the network with every little thing? And it's so much worse with Netflix.
They're spending the money. I get it.
Everything that Netflix puts on has to be catered completely around them.
So they're doing this. I'm just, I'm glad the Padres don't have to have this game, but Thing from Wednesday will be lending a hand with the ceremonial first pitch ahead of Yankees and Giants, and will be opening night is live on Netflix March 25th.
Wait, who from Wednesday?
Thing from Wednesday. I don't know what that is.
The hand.
Yeah, there's a picture of the hand. And
you couldn't get, what's her name, Ortega to do it? The star of the show? You had to get the hand? That's all it is. It's the hand.
I guess.
Like, come on.
There's the hand. That's what it says. I don't know. I don't watch television.
What are they going to do? Are they going to get the guy? I mean, are they going to have the guy throw it, or are they going to have the guy wear a green suit?
It might just be on TV. Maybe it's just on Netflix only. I don't know.
A person in a dinosaur costume wasn't available.
Yeah, this guy goes, the perfect mix of pop culture and baseball tradition. Fans are going to love that quirky touch.
Is it though?
I don't know. I get what these companies are doing. And you know what? If you're Major League Baseball, you're taking the media rights. I get it. Like, you want whoever's going to spend the most money to broadcast your games is who you're usually going to go with. And these companies that are spending tons of money, they are broadcasting these games for a reason, to get subscriptions and to promote the stuff that they have already paid for. I understand that. But for us diehard baseball fans, it's kind of tough.
If you can't get the star of the show, why are you doing it with that show? Wednesday's a good show. I like it. It's very, very good. I enjoyed season 1. I haven't watched season 2 yet. But you got the hand, dude. You got an hand. You didn't get Wednesday. You got a hand.
I couldn't tell you.
So if this dude is on Netflix throwing out the first pitch, they're going to have no idea who it is. Or you make it look so dumb for the people who are there and have him wear a green suit except for the hand. So there's just a hand floating.
That would be all time, though. I agree with Fridge Watcher in the chat. That'd be hilarious.
It would look so stupid in person.
I don't.
And that is what's going to go viral over the fact that Thing threw out the first pitch. Is every single person with a camera phone going, look at how stupid this is.
I want to mention again, I understand what these companies are doing from a business standpoint.
Yes.
I understand from the leagues what they're doing because they want, they need the media rights, right? I mean, these are all things that I understand what these guys are doing. But at the same time, like, the whole let's try to use these sport. What I don't like, though, with baseball specifically is companies feel like baseball is boring. And so they try to come up with ways to make baseball entertaining for people that don't like baseball. And again, I get it. Baseball wants a bigger audience, right? They want to, convince people to watch their sport. But once you start getting away from the actual game and the actual side of what baseball is and why people watch baseball, I know you're trying to it's in the best interest business wise to expand your audience as much as possible. But if everything you create for the audience to watch baseball is not actually baseball, and it's the other things, and they're not watching the baseball, they're watching the other things.
Welcome to the conversation surrounding NASCAR about 15 to 20 years ago.
What were they doing in NASCAR to try to get people? Have they gotten away from that completely?
Oh, they've gotten away from the smaller tracks. They build these big tracks.
Super speedways.
They build super speedways, and these small little dirt roots tracks like North Wilkesboro, which came back, were kicked off the schedule. They changed the cars around so many times. It was nonsensical in the way they promote it. Fox has been broadcasting NASCAR for 25 years now. They have not had one non-AI generated ad play on television this year. You have 25 years of content and you're using AI generated nonsense. Thanks, guys. Way to show some effort. Good job.
I just feel like it just seems like a lot of the people that make the decisions on the broadcast for leagues like don't actually like the sports that they're broadcasting.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes away from, and we see this problem all the time with like ESPN stopped like caring about baseball, as you could tell by a lot of the things that they had done. Now they did buy MLB.TV, so they just kind of they moved around their assets. But the whole idea of we have to do these player interviews in the middle of the game because that's what we think people are going to think is fun, and it's not actually the game that's exciting, it's the other stuff that makes it exciting, which leads us to maybe potentially moving the WBC around here. Now, the WBC success they had a lot of success. They had a record attendance, 1.6 million plus fans, massive global viewership growth. Venezuela, beat Team USA 3-2 in the championship for its first ever title. Tournament momentum is real, not a niche event anymore. It's no longer extra baseball. This is becoming a really good product for Major League Baseball and the future of baseball.
Did you see that giant tattoo that Salvi got to commemorate the win?
I did not.
It looks beautiful. There's videos on YouTube,
really?
on Twitter of it.
So what Rob Manfred has done is he's floated out the idea of moving the WBC from March to July, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, potentially replacing or competing with the All-Star game. The motivation is players are in better shape mid-season, higher quality baseball, more star participation. MLB is openly admitting March baseball is inferior baseball to what could potentially be July baseball, where they're in the middle of the season. This is why they believe March is flawed. Pitchers are not fully stretched out. Pitch limits hurts game quality. Hitters still finding timing. And MLB clubs are hesitant to risk injuries before the season, which means the biggest stars often either don't play or don't go all out. Their claim is, this is from Major League Baseball, which is interesting to me. The mid-season could be better because players are in peak form. No artificial limits on usage. High intensity, playoff level baseball could resemble World Cup style global event instead of the glorified spring training. Obviously, there's a lot of major complications. Could Major League Baseball pause the season for 2+ weeks? Do they shorten the regular season that year? What happens to players that are not in the WBC? Team momentum, injury concerns are still going to be existent for teams in playoff races. But from a logistics standpoint, until you get the owners to buy in, how do you make this happen? Now, they are thinking about the 2028 Olympics being kind of a trial run, because in LA, the Olympics are in LA in 2028, which could include MLB players. You get the mid-July window, and if it works, it's the blueprint for the mid-season WBC. So this is going to be an interesting trial run in a couple of years for the WBC with how they do the Olympics. But with the Olympics, that's a big reason why I think they decided to have San Francisco have the All-Star game so they could do both. Because that's the other thing, too, like Tony Gwynn Jr. mentioned on the afternoon show, they don't want to get rid of the All-Star game. They make a lot of money on that still, even if it's not a competitive game. And, they got rid of like what the incentive is to win said game. They still make a ton of money on that particular product. We talked about you could do the 2 weeks, but the problem is, I don't know what you would have to make it like a week of the WBC finals and then have them like do all the pool play stuff in spring training for it to really make it work. That's right. That's the logistical problem. I don't think you could do the current format that you have in March completely in the summertime.
No.
It's too much time.
No,
and you can't have guys have 2 weeks off. You're going to have to play games that don't matter, which is not great either. You would have to do with whoever suggested that on our phone call where you do pool play in March like you would do. And then they go back to spring training and do the regular season. And then in July, when everybody has a week off, that's when you get your bracket play done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which I think
week and a half. You could do it in a week and a half.
Yeah. Which makes a lot of sense. I mean, you could do it in the couple days off. I mean, if you want to give a full week off for the All-Star break, I mean, you make your pick. Do you want to play in the All-Star game or do you want to play in the World Baseball Classic every 3 years? So I think that would be the way to do that. You could because no one watches the Home Run Derby anymore. No one watches the Futures game or knows the Futures game is on, and nobody cares about the celebrity softball game.
The celebrity softball game is filled with people I don't even know who they are anymore.
So you could do, like, if you wanted to give a full Sunday to Sunday off or Monday to Sunday off for Major League Baseball, you could play the All-Star game on Tuesday or push it to Monday. Leave it on Tuesday. And then you could have the World Baseball Classic Wednesday through Sunday and then just go back to the season, or Wednesday through Saturday and then just go back to the season from there.
They can even mix the All-Star game in there, and these guys could still be on the, quote, All-Star team and just not playing the All-Star game, the one that are on whoever qualifies for that week.
Which is what they do anyway.
They do that anyway. These All-Star teams are like gigantic anyway, but you could literally have a full week and a half of the All-Star break just in every 3 years, 4 years, whatever you want to do the WBC, and the only ones you have 4 teams left at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And you do the semifinals, and then you do the finals. Semi should be a one-off. Finals could be a best of 3. You do it for the week. You mix the All-Star game in on Tuesday, right? You could even do the Home Run Derby before the All-Star game and mix and just make it a whole a baseball conference for the whole week. And it'd be a big deal every 3 years. I think that would probably be more exciting for a lot of people. Then you have it all based in one city. So whoever hosts the All-Star game that year gets the WBC too.
Yeah.
And then that way you can have it anywhere, because right now you're really only having it in domes or tropical locations that are, quote, somewhat close to spring training, because you got to ship these guys all over the place. But you could have it all at one stadium, and then that year you kind of get a bonus. Tomorrow we'll give our baseball previews. We got a full Gwynn and Chris today. Tony Gwynn Jr. is back in studio with Chris Ello and Matt Scraby. They're going to play the Funtabulous Game Show at some point. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant. Talk to you guys tomorrow.